Footnotes. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Forsch, I-168 and N1. Schrader, Real X, 920F, accepts this explanation as most probable and connecting it with SKT. Kakra interprets it as referring to a wheel formation of the army, but Vanitschek, Greichlat, Edem, Wörterb, 1085F connects populari with spalium. Curtius, Greich, Edem, 260 English 344 Corson Osper, I 368 422 Vanitschek Edem, Wörterb Delat, SBR 90 Greichlat, Edem Wörterb, 506 Walde Lat, Edem, Wörterb 480F CF. Schrader, Ibid, Gents Pater, Rom 51F. This interpretation would explain magister populi and populari. Plebs, on the other hand, denoted the multitude as distinguished from the leaders. Hence it differed from populace, notwithstanding Herzog, Rom, Staatsverf. I-98, N2. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 3. Livy, Roman 21, 34, 1. Sic Rep I-25, 39, Livy I-81 Isid, Edem, Roman 9, 6, 5. Cf. Madvig, Romstadt, I-34 FF, Schiller, Rom Alt, 612 FF. Armasumir, Sacris Ades, Concilium Anire, Tac, Germ, 66, 13, 1, on the Indo-European relation of the army to the folk, see Schrader, Real X. 349 F for Rome, Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 3 F. Sic Rep Roman 2, 814, Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 7-2 Plut, Rom, 1420 Ovid Fast, Roman 3, 131 Diocas, Frag, 5-8 Varro LLV 55 column, V19. As Romulus was the eponymous hero of the Ramnes, or of all the Romans, and Lucerus Fest, Ep. 119 of the Luciers. The original seat of the hero at Rome was on the Capitoline near the site of the later temple of Juno Moneta, Plut, Rom, 20. It was closely connected, therefore, with the auguraculum on the spot, Varro L. LV 47, Sic, off Roman 3, 16, 66, Fest, Ep. 16. Perhaps his name has some etymological relation with Tishger, to chirp as a sparrow, Varro LLV 85 Tidiis Avibus, Pies Storia di Roma II 277 and N3, for Cellini Lex, SV the Sodils Tidii who attended to his worship, cf. Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 52-5, Tac, Ann, I-54, Hist, Roman 2, 95 were accustomed to take a certain kind of auspices from birds, Varro Ibid. His tomb was in a place called Lauretum on the Aventine, Pies Ibid. 279, confused probably with Laurentum, where he is said to have been killed. All these circumstances indicate that Titus Tatius was an indigenous Roman, or at most a Latin hero, and that his connection with the Sabines is an ill-founded, relatively late idea. The primary origin of the word Titienses is Etruscan, Schulz, Lat, Igenom, 218. Possibly because the rights of the Titian Sodils seem to be Sabine, cf. Tac, Ann, I-54, but even if they were, this circumstance would not make the Titian tribe Sabine. Varro, however, placed them on the Aventine. A Sabine settlement on the Quirinal has not been proved, cf. Lake Ravane in Dernburg et Saglio Dict, Roman 2, 1514. In Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 47-4 cf. 7-2 Plut, Rom, 13. LLV 46-55, Serve, in Een, V 560. P2, N6, and N1 above. Serve, Ibid. Cf. Hulson in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 3, 1273. Proposed by Niebuhr, Rom, Jesh, I 311 FF, English I 153 FF. In his opinion, the three tribes were of different nationalities. His view, with or without the theory of national syncretism, has been accepted by many scholars including Schwegler, Rom, Jesh, I 480 FF, 497 514, Lange, Rom Alt, I 82 FF, Peter Jesh, Roms, I 60, Madvig, Romstadt, I 97 F, Herzog, Rom Staatsverf, I 23 F. With some reserve, Schiller, Rom Alt, 621, Ihering Geist des Rom Rex, I 309 313, Gents Pater, Rom 89 FF, Bernhoft Rom, Konigs, 79 Puchta Kurs D Inst, I 73, Soltau Rom Volksversammel, 46F Kubitschek Romtrib, or 4 Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 96F Willems Seine, Rom. I7 Schrader Realex, 801, Nissen Templum 145F, Idle, Landesk, Roman 2, 496. Against the view that the three tribes were once independent communities are Valquartsen in Rhine. Meuse, Roman 33, 542 FF. Mayer Jesch, D. Alt, Roman 2, 510, Lake Ravane in Dernburg et Saglio Dict, Roman 2, 1514 A Halsapfel in Bader, Z. Alt, Jesch, I 241, 249 FF. Plattner Top and Mohn, of Ankh, Rome 33, Eichen Hist. Of Rome, I 114, thinks they probably had reference only to the army. The double nature of many Roman institutions, a phenomenon on which scholars chiefly rely for their theory of a once existent two-tribe state, may better be explained by the union of the Sabines with the Romans after the institution of the three tribes, as this relatively later date would at the same time explain the six-fold character of various institutions. That the union took place at the beginning of the 5th century BC is believed by Pies, Storia di Roma, II 277. Or the stated increase in the number of members of the Vestals, Augurs, Pontiffs, and more particularly of senators, may be due to an ancient theory, dimly hinted at in the sources, of an admission of the second and third tribes successively to representation in these bodies. Cf. Niebuhr, Rom, Jesch. I 320F English I 157 Block Orig, D. Seine, 32 FF. Bormann in Iran, Vind, 345-58 following a hint offered by Nice Rom, Jesch. First ed. 1886, 585 has gone so far as to deny their existence, setting them down as an invention of Varro, but Halsapfel in Bader, Z. Alt, Jesch, I 230 FF, proves that Cicero and other sources did not draw from Varro their information regarding the tribes. Against Bormann, see also Pies Ibid. I 279, N1. That the primitive Roman tribes were in character substantially identical with the primitive Greek phylum cannot be doubted. Apparently the 4 Ionic phylum in Attica offered no resistance to dissolution at the hands of Cleisthenes. Cf. HDT, V66, Arist, Ath, Paul, 21. For the best treatment of the Greek phylum, see Shanto, E. Ostgualta Panlungen, 21688, who maintains that the institution was artificial. In like manner, the 3 Roman tribes disappeared, leaving but scant traces, p. 7. Mantua till late an Etruscan city had 3 tribes, serve, in Aen, x 202. In this connection it is significant that Volneyus, an Etruscan poet, declared the primitive tribal names to be Etruscan Varro LLV 55. The information suggests the possibility that some Etruscan cities had these same tribes. Cf. Fest, 280-525, Sil, Roman 9, 4204, locality unknown. In fact, these names can be ultimately traced to Etruscan gentilitia, Schulz, Lat, Igenom, 218-581. The triplet champions of Alba point to a division of this community into 3 tribes, Niebuhr, Rom, Jesch, I 386, Schwegler, Rom, Jesch, I 502. The story that T. Tatius was killed at Lavinium indicates the existence of a tomb of the hero in that place, a clear sign of a tribe of Titties there, Livy I 14. 2. Dion, Hal. Roman 2, 52, cf. Varro LLV 152. A trace of Ramnes is found at Ardea, serve, in Aen, Roman 9, 358. There were Ramnina in Ostia Sil, Roman 14. 1542 and Ramnii in Capua, Ibid, x 3772 Schulz, Lat, Igenom, 218. The existence of a tribe of Luceres in Ardea is vouched for by Lucerus, its eponymous hero, king of that city Fest. Ep. 119. Pies, Storia di Roma, II 279. The word in various forms occurs in certain Etruscan towns, Schulz, Ibid, 182. These facts make it probable that some at least of the Latin as well as Etruscan cities had the same 3 tribes. The Etruscans had 12 cities in each of their 3 districts, Strabo v. 43, Livy v. 33. Each city had 3 consecrated gates and 3 temples to Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva, serve, in Aen, I 422. The Umbrians had 300 cities in the Po Valley, destroyed by the Etruscans, Pliny Nh. Roman 3. 14, 113. The Bruttians were organized in a confederation of 12 cities, Livy Roman 25. 1-2 The Iapygians were divided into 3 branches, Polyb. Roman 3, 88-4, each of which comprised 12 smaller groups, Block Orig, D. Sane, 9F Halsapfel in Bader Z. Alt. Jesh. I 245FF. 252F The tripartite division also existed in many pagi which continued to historical time. Corneman in Clio v. 83. These facts are too well known to need illustration. Cf. Nissen Templum 144, Block Orig, D. Sane, 1FF. Varro, LLV 55. Tribus equals tribu s. Bu is related to phi upsilon to grow, SKT. Bu, tribus corresponding to phi upsilon lambdita would then signify 3-branch, Corson Osper. I-163 Pot Edem, Forsch. I-111 217 Roman 2, 441 Vanicek Edem, Wordurb D-Lat, SBR. 69 Greich Lat Edem, Wordurb. 636 Block Ibid. 9 Schlossmann in Archive F. Lat Lexicog. Roman 14 1905. 2540 Connecting tribus with tres interprets it not as a third but as an indefinite part, cf. And Swayan with the meaning to divide in several parts. Schrader Real X. 801 is doubtful as to the etymology, cf. Walda Lat, Edem, Wordurb, 636. The connection of the word with tres is denied by Madvig Ramstadt. I-96, Nissen Ittel, Landesk. Roman 2, 8N5, Christ in Sitzp, D. Bayer, Akad, 1906, 204 prefers to connect it with Celt asterisk Trebo Old Irish Treb, house Goth, Thoop, village. Oscan Trebo also means house. The existence of 4 Ionic tribes in all Ionic cities cannot be maintained. Cf. Wilamowitz Mollendorf in Sitzp, D. Burl, Akad, 1906, 71. The tribus Sapinia was the territory of the Sapinian community, Livy Roman 31. 26 Roman 33. 37-1, just as the Trifutarinate was the territory of the community, Tuda, Toda, Osk, Taudo, Tab, Bant, 2 Tadenum, Tab, Igov, Roman 6, B54, cf. Roman 3, 24, Buck, Grammar of Oscan and Umbrian, 278f. 298, Butcheler, Umbrica, C. Index, S. Treff, Treffiper, Corneman in Clio, V. 87. Christ in Sitzp, D. Bayer, Akad, 1906, 207. Livy I-55, 3F. Sil, Roman 9. 1618 5565, Nissen Ittel, Landesk, Roman 2, 8FF. Corneman in Clio, V. 80. Dion, Hal, Roman 4. 15, Nissen Ittel, Landesk, Roman 2, 915. Doubtless oppidum applied primarily to the enclosing wall, thence to the space enclosed. Keys. BGV 21, Varro, LLV 153. From the beginning, it must have been the chief or central settlement of the Pagus, though the organization was not urban but territorial tribal. Cf. Pullman, Anfange Roms 40FF. Livy Roman 9, 41-6, X18-8, Sil, I-199, Isid, Edom, Roman 15, 211, Visayat Casella et Pagisunt qui nulla dignitate civitatis ornanter, sed vulgari hominum conventu incollanter et propter parvitatum sui maioribus civitatibus attribunter, Fest, Ep. 72, Nissen, Ibid. 11. Thus the 3 tribes of Cyrene were made up each of a nationality or group of nationalities, HDT. Roman 4, 161, and the 10 tribes of Thuriae were named after the nationalities of which they were respectively composed. Diod, Roman 12. 11. 3. The Romans founded their colonies according to Etruscan rites, and they believed their city to have been established in the same way. Varro, LLV 143, Cato in Serve. In Een, V 755, Fest, 237, 18, Corneman in Clio, V 88. The word Roma is now declared to be Etruscan, Schultzi Lat, Igenom, 579 FF. Schmidt, Karlafar, W in Burl, Philol, Wach, 1906. 1656. Richter Top, D. Stat Rom 30 FF, still believes that the earliest settlement was on the Palatine. His view is controverted by De Juring H. in Burl, Philol, Wach, Roman 23 1903. 1645 F. who prefers the Quirinal cf. Also Carter J. B. in A.M., Jern of Archeol, Roman 12, 1908, 172-83. Cf. Richter Ibid, 38, Mayer Ian Hermes XXX, 13. Cf. Nissen Idle, Landesk Roman 2, 504. Cf. Varro LLV 55, Various Flaccus in Gel, Roman 18, 7-5. The idea of Isidorus etim, Roman 9, 6-7 is of course absurd. This subject will be considered in connection with the Servian tribes, p. 48f. Dion Hal Roman 4, 14-2. p. 74. Like the Attic phylobasiles, they continued through historical time to perform sacerdotal functions. Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 64-3, Fast, Preen, Mar 19 in Sil. I2, p. 234, Sali facian in commitio saltu ad stantibus po antiphysibus et trib, Seller, Halsapfel in Bader, Z alt, Jesh, I 242. Verg in, v 553 ff. Serve, in een, v 560, Halsapfel Ibid, 243. p2 and 6. Fest 280 525, cf. Serve, in een, x 202. There were curiae in Lanuvium, an old Latin town, Sil, Roman 14, 2120. Juno Curis cur Aritis Quiritis, goddess of the curiae, was worshipped in Tibur Serve, in een, I-17, and in Falerii Turtle, Apol, 24 Sil. Xi 30 130 125 30 126 cf. Halsapfel Bader, Z alt, Jesh I 247 Roscher Lex D Greich, U Rom Myth, Roman 2. I 596 f. A connection between curis and curia is not clear. Deek, Phalisker, 86. Aristotle, Politics 1329 b8, considers Italus, king of the Onotrians, to have been author of the Mesassociations, sigma upsilon sigma sigma iota tau iota alpha, adding that the institution was derived from the country of the Oppisae and the Chionians. With the Oppisae he includes Latins as well as Ausonians. Dion. Hal. I-72. 3 on the relation of these peoples to one another, see especially Pies, Ank. Italy ch. I Greek writers identify the curia with the phratry. Dion. Hal, Roman 2, 7-3f Diocas, Frag, 4-8, the letter 1f11 tau alpha iota rho epsilon iota alpha and the succession. Dion. Hal, Roman 2, 23-3 Diocas Ibid. Although the institutions designated by these 4 names show considerable variety of form and function, they are similar in general character and may have a common origin. Mayer, Jesh, D. alt, Roman 2. 514. The myth which names the curiae after the Sabine women suggests that some of the curial names, and perhaps the curiae themselves, might be found among the Sabines. On Rapta and Tisha, however, CP 11, N7. Dion Hal Roman 2, 7-2 Diocas, Frag 5-8 Plut, Rom 20 Fest 174, 8 Ep 49 Oral Vict, Ver Il Roman 2, 12 Serve in een, Roman 8, 638 Pomponius in Dig, I-222. Soltau Altram, Volksversammel. 47f entertains the peculiar idea that the curiae, invented to counteract the independent tendencies of the tribes, were not divisions of the tribes, the members of each curia being drawn from all 3 tribes. His view is contradicted by the sources, and he admits that he cannot prove it. St. Augustine, N.R., in Psalm 121, 7 Roman 4, 2 1624 ed., Mean, and still later Paulus, the epitomator of Festus, 54, suppose that there were 35 curiae, notwithstanding Hoffman Pater, U pleb cur, 44 ff. The opinion of these late writers doubtless arose from an identification of the curiae with the tribes, cf. Kubler in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 4, 1818. p11f. The word is derived from asterisk coviria, a dwelling together, an assembly, by pot etim, forsch, Roman 2, 373 f cf. Vanicek etim wordurb d lat sbr, 160 Walda lat etim wordurb, 161 who is followed by Schwegler Rom, Jesh, I 496 and 8 610 N4 Herzog Rom Staatsverf, I 96. Mommsen Rom Staatser. Roman 3, 590 and notes gives the word the meaning and association of citizens, deriving it from queris cf. A bris 11, which he connects with kappa letter 1 fe6 rho omicron sigma, kappa letter 1 fe6 rho iota omicron sigma, as did Lange in 1853, Klein Schriffen I 147. Afterward, Rom. Alt. I. 1876, 91, Lange expressed some doubt as to this connection. But the fact that curia applies to the house not only of the curials, but also of the Senate and of the Salii as well as to various other buildings, seems to indicate that the meaning house is primary for the Latin language if not ultimately original. Corson, who accepts this meaning, derives cu from scu, to cover, to protect osper. I 353f Vanitschek Greichlat, edem, wordherb, 1116 cf, Old High Germ, huti hues eng, house. Although Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 90 and 2 protests against this explanation, it is accepted by Mayer, Jesch, D. Alt, Roman 2, 511 Soltau Altram, Volksversammlung, 52 and others. Far less probable is a connection with curiae assumed by most ancient writers, cf. Varro LLV 155 Roman 6, 46 Vit, Pop, Rom, in non, Mark, 57 Fest, Ep, 49 Pomponius in Dig. I 222 Diocas. Frag, 58 Isid, Edem, Roman 15, 228. These sources have misled Gents Pater, Rom 32 into fruitless speculation on the functions of the curia. Tac Ann Roman 12, 24. Fest, 174-6, Jordan Top. D Stat Rom II 165F Roman 3, 43F. Gilbert Jesch U Top. D Stat Rom I 102F 195FF. Richter Top. D Stat Rom 33 340, Lanciani, Ruins and Excavations of Ancient Rome, Map Op. 58, Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. Roman 3, 99. P8 N5, Dion, Hal Roman 2, 53 Fest, 254. 25 Ep. 64, cf. Roscher Lex, Roman 2, I 596. Worshipped in the Four Decidia, Ovid Fast, Roman 4. 634, Lid, de Mens, Roman 4, 49, Wissoa, Rel, Ucult, D. Rom, 159. On the curial worship, see Varro, LL Roman 6, 13, Fest, 254, 25 317, 12, Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 23 1353, 65 4, Ovid Fast, Roman 2, 527 FF, Roman 4, 629 FF, Plut, QR 89 cf. Fowler Roman Festivals 71 302-6. On the Stultorum Furiae, see Wissoa Ibid. 142, Fowler Ibid, 304 FF. Dion Hal Roman 2, 23 1 Fest, 245, 28. Varro LLV 83 Roman 6, 46 Dion Hal, 64 1 65 4 Fest, Ep. 4962, Lid, de Mag, I9. Dion Hal Roman 2, 22, 1. Sil Roman 6, 1892 Roman 14, 296 Gel Roman 15, 27 2 cf. Sick, Leg, Agar Roman 2, 12, 31. Fest, Ep. 64, Curials Flamens Curiarum Sacerdotes. For the flame of the Curia Iovis of Simithus, see Sil, Roman 8, 14,683, cf. 2,596 and 11,008. The statement of Festus, 154, 26 that there were but 15 flamines must be modified, but there may have been fewer than 30 curial flamines, Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, I 390. Of the 2 curial officials mentioned by Dionysius, Roman 2, 21-2, therefore, one was the curio and the other a lictor, Mommsen, Ibid, 309 N5, Gents Pater, Rom 47 or a flamen Halsapfel in Bader, Z Alt, Jesch, I 242. Cf. Wissoa Rel, Ucult, D Rom, 338 N3, 413 N2. Livy Roman 3, 77 Roman 27, 81 Fest, Ep. 126. This official was probably instituted after the Curians had become mere priests, Gents Ibid, 48. P. 157. The Comitium was a place of assembly adjoining the Forum. Roman 2, 72f 23-3. Soltau Altram, Volksversammlung. 52-65 following J. J. Muller in Philol. Roman 34, 1874, 96 136, refuses to credit a military character to the curiae because it is mentioned by no other writer, and because we can find no trace of it in historical time. His reasoning is not cogent. The curia may have lost its earlier military function, as did the phratry, Roman 2, 362 f. That the antiquarians had some evidence as to the military character of the curiae is suggested by Fest. Ep. 54. Centuriata comitia item curiata disbanter, quia populus Romanus per setinas termas divisis erat. Roman 2, 362 f. Tac germ 7-3. Schrader Realex, 349 f. All adult male citizens had a right to attend this assembly. All who were physically qualified and of military age were liable to service when called to it, but probably on no occasion were those present in the assembly identical with the military levy of the year. Cf. p. 203. p. 7. Roman 2. 7-4 The curials must have been neighbors in order to use a common drying oven, N8 below. Fest 174. 12. The first is evidently named after the forum, the second after the velia, cf. Plut. Rom. 20 who states that many were named after places. Of the other 5 Velisha Fest, Ibid, Tisha Ibid, Ep. 366, Fascia Livy Roman 9, 3815, and Aquilia Varro LL Roman 6, 23 have Gentile endings. We should not imagine these 4 to be named after gents which were of later origin. Botsford in Paul, Sci. Quart, Roman 21, 1907, 685 ff. It would be safer to assume that they, like gentilitia, are derived from the names of persons real or imaginary. Rapta Fest, 174. 12. And Tisha possibly suggested to the ancients the derivation of the curial names from those of the captive Sabine women, cf. p. 8 and 6. Dion Hal Roman 4, 12. 2. This statement is confirmed by the nature of the Fornacalia, the chief festival of the curiae. It was celebrated in connection with the drying of the foreign ovens, Pliny N.H. Roman 18. 2-8 Fest, Ep. 8393. Evidently the members of a curia were those who had a common drying oven, Wiswa, Rel, U cult, D. Rom 142. Delta iota letter 1 FC4, Rho eta nu tau alpha iota delta letter 1 F72, kappa alpha letter 1 F76, epsilon letter 1 F30, sigma delta epsilon kappa alpha sigma, alpha letter 1 F30, phi rho alpha tau rho alpha iota. Pi rho letter 1 F78, sigma alpha letter 1 F51 tau, omicron letter 1 Fe6. Kappa alpha letter 1 F76, letter 1 F21, gamma epsilon mu letter 1 F7c, nu letter 1 F10, kappa letter 1 F70, sigma tau, eta nu letter 1 F10 kappa omicron sigma mu epsilon iota, delta epsilon kappa alpha delta alpha. Delta epsilon kappa omicron epsilon rho iota omega nu, kappa alpha tau, letter 1 F70 tau, letter 1 F74, nu letter 1 F10 pi iota chi omega rho iota omicron nu. Gamma lambda, letter 1 FF6 tau tau, alpha nu pi rho omicron sigma alpha gamma omicron mu epsilon omicron mu epsilon nu omicron sigma. Polyb Roman 6, 25-1 cf. 20-9. LLV 91. There is no need of assuming, with Bloch, Origins du Senat Romain 102.5, that the decurii mentioned by Dionysius are purely imaginary. Rom, Jesh, I 334f Eng, 163 cf. Also Schwegler Rom, Jesh I 612 f. The antiquated view is still held by Herzog Rom Staatsverf, I 96 and by Lakravain in Derenberg et Saglio Dict, Roman 2. 1504. Though Ihan, History of Rome, I 113 N3, believes that the curiae were composed of gentes, he is doubtful as to the number. Cum ex generibus hominum suffragem feretur, curiata comitia esse, cum ex sensu et edate, centuriata, cum ex regionibus et locis, tributa. Mommsen, too, supposes that genera here means gentes but is used so as to include also the plebeian stirps. Nevertheless, he knows that the voting in the curiate assembly was by heads rather than by gentes. Rom, Stotzer. Roman 3. 9 N2, 90 N5. Livy I 43, 10, Viritum suffragem, omnibus datum est, i.e. in the curiate assembly. This statement of the lack of relation between the gens and the curia is repeated from Paul. Sci. Quart, Roman 21, 511f. It is in the main a reproduction of my article on the subject in Paul. Sci. Quart. Roman 21, 1906, 498 526. p. 25 ff. Rep. Roman 2. 814, 1223. Senatus, qui constabet ex optimatibus, quibus ips rex tantum tribuisset, ut ius paters velit nominari patriciosque aerum liberos. In the expression omnibus patricias, omnibus antiquissimus civibus, Cicero Keek, 35, 101, intends no more than to include the patricians among the oldest citizens, whom he is contrasting with the newly admitted municipes. Only the most superficial examination of the passage, cf. Willems, Sane, Rom, I7, could make omnibus patricias equivalent to omnibus antiquissimus civibus. I8, 7. Ibid, concilium deigned viribus paret, centum create senators. Livy Roman 4. 4-7. Nobilitatem istum vestrum quam plerique oriendi ex Albanis, et Sabinis non gener nec sanguine sed per cooptationem in paters habetis, aut ob regibus lecti out post, reges exactos iassu populi. Livy I34. 6. In novo populo, ubi omnes repentina ac ex verdut nobilitas sit. Roman 2, 813. In 12. 1, he shifts his point of view. Romulus chose the 100 original senators from the patricians. Rom 13 cf. Qr 58. Cf. Further Ovid Fast Roman 3, 127, Vel, I86 Fest, 246-23, 339. 11. There is no inconsistency, however, in the fact that some noble gents claimed descent from Aeneas or from deities cf. Sealy, Livy 57, or from Alban or Sabine ancestors cf. Livy I32, Roman 4. 4-7 Dion Hal, Roman 2. 46-3, Roman 3. 29-7. They were nobles in their original homes before the founding of Rome, but became patricians by an act only of the Roman government. Although after the creation of the first 100 paters, the ancients do not distinctly state that each newly made senator was the founder of a new patrician family, they do represent the enlargement of the Senate and of the patriciate as going hand in hand. In this way, they continue to make the patriciate depend upon membership in the Senate. Cf. Livy I32, 35-6, Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 47-1, Roman 3, 67-1, Madvig, Romstadt, I75. Rep. Roman 2, 814 cf. Oral Vict, Ver. Il Roman 2, 11. Cat 66 cf. Isid, Edim Roman 9, 610, Nam sicut pater suus ida illi rem publicam habent, or alebent. I8, 7. 339, 11. 247. Roman 2, 81. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Forsch, I227. From the root pa to protect, preserve, conservare, pot wurzel wordurb, dien dog, SBR, 2d ed, 221 Corson Osper, I 424, Schrader, Sprachvergel, U Urgesh, 538, Lake Ravane in Dernberg et Saglio Dict, Roman 2, 1507. Dig 116, 195-2, Pater familias appellator qui in domo dominium habet. In like manner patronus is protector of clients, pater patrii protector of his country, pot, ibid. 227. Ulpian in dig, ibid. Pater autem familias rect hoc nomen appellator, quamvis filium non habet, non enim solemn personam ius, sed et ius demonstramus. Denique et pupillum patrum familias appellemus. Livy I32, 10, from a Feschel formula. Rubino, Rom Verfischung ungeskicht, 186, Mommsen, Rom Forsch. I228, N16. In the same way, reges is made to include the whole family of the Rex, Livy I39. 2. For other illustrations of the same principle, see Rubino, Ibid. 188 N1. The 12 tables seem to apply it to all patricians, not to senators alone. Cicero, Rep. Roman 2. 37. 63. Connubia, ut ni plebe cum patribus essent, Livy Roman 4. 4-5, ni connubium patribus cum plebe esset. These passages, however, do not afford absolute proof, for Gaius, BK, Roman 6 ad legem duodecim tabularum dig. 116. 238. Plebs est ceteri sive sine senatoribus, probably commenting on the very law quoted by Cicero and Livy, seems to understand paters as senators. Cf. The prohibition of intermarriage between senators and their agnatic descendants on the one hand and freed persons on the other, dig. Roman 22, 244, Robi Rom Priv. Law I 130, Vassus in Athena, Roman 12. 57f. In some instances, however, as in the expression a patribus transier ad plebum, vel, Roman 2:45. One paters is certainly equivalent to patriciae. Cf. Gentilicius from gentiles, tribunicius from tribunus pot ibid. 227. Patricius is an adjective signifying paternal, ancestral, belonging to parents or progenitors, Corson ibid. I 53. In his work on the Comitia, quoted by Fest, 241. 21, Patricios eos apelleri solidos qui nunc ingenui vocenter. X8, 10. Enamquam fando audistis patricios primo esse factos non decalo de missos, sed qui patrum sier passent, id est nihil ultra quam ingenuos. Roman 6, 40, 6. The speaker contrasts ingenui with patriciae. Plut, Qr 58. Those who were first constituted senators by Romulus were called paters and patriciae as being men of good birth who could show their pedigree. In its adjectival and adverbial uses, ingenus connotes not the quality of free birth, but respectability, nobility. The original meaning is born within, hence indigenous, native. Cf. Forcellini, Todius Latinitatis Lexicon, SV. In this sense it could not apply to the patricians, who generally claimed a foreign origin. But native is superior to alien. Doubtless, in this secondary meaning of excellence, it attached to the nobility, the close relation of the word to gens, family, lineage, attracting it in that direction. Afterward it was so democratized as to include all the freeborn. With this meaning, we find it as early as Plautus Mill. 784, 961. According to Dionysius, Roman 2. 8, 3, the identification of patriciae with ingenui in its sense of freeborn was accepted not by the most trustworthy historians, but by certain malicious slanderers. Some say they were called patricians because they alone could cite their fathers, the rest being fugitives and unable to cite free fathers. P. 30. The word is probably derived from the same root as populus, Corson Osper, I 368, cf. P1, N3 above. Rep. Roman 2, 916. Roman 2, 92. Notably among the Sabines, Livy Roman 2, 16, 4 Dion Hal Roman 2, 46, 3. Cicero Rep. Roman 2, 916 Dion Hal Roman 2, 92. Cf. The citations in Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 71 N1 Dionysius Roman 2, 63. 3. Distinguish the two classes as early as the interregnum which followed Romulus. Dion, Hal, v40, 3, Roman 6, 47-1, Roman 7, 19-2, x43. As late as 134 Scipio called his clients to follow him to the Numantine War, Appian Iber, 84. Livy Roman 3, 58, 1. Dion, Hal Roman 2, 10-3. Livy Roman 2, 56-3, 64-2, Dion, Hal Roman 2, 10-3, Roman 4, 23-6, Roman 9, 41, 5. Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 10-3, it was not lawful for either patron or client to vote against the other. Marius, a client of Hyrnius, was elected to the praetorship, Plut, Mar, 5. A law declared that election to a curule office according to Plutarch, or as Marius asserted to any office, freed a man and his family from clientage. Evidently this law was passed in or after 367 BC. Mucius, a client of T. Gracchus, was elected to the plebeian tribunate, Plut. T. Grac 13, CN. Flavius, who was the son of a freedman and probably therefore a client, was elected curule aedile for 304, Livy Roman 9. 46-1, Val, Max Roman 2. 5-2. Gaius 1-3. Plebs autem a populo eo distat, quad populi appellation universi sive significanter conumeratis etiam patrices, plebis autem appellation sine patrices ceteri sive significanter. Evidently Pomponius held the same view, dig. I2216, cf. Capito Ingel, x20, 5 Fest, 233-29, 330-19, Isid. Edom, Roman 9. 6-5 F. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3. 4, N2. Cicero, Rep. Roman 2. 1223, Livy I 8-7, Zon, Roman 7. 9, Isid, Edom, Roman 9. 6-6. Illustrations of this common use are Cicero, Rep. Roman 2. 814, 1223, Livy Roman 2. 54-3, Roman 4. 51-3, x 13-9, Roman 25. 2-9, 313, 316, xxx 27. 3, Roman 34. 54-4, Roman 37. 58-1, Roman 43. 8-9. The Greeks always regard populace as the equivalent of delta letter 1 FC6 mu omicron sigma, cf. Plut, Rom, 13. Not only does the tribune in addressing the plebs call them populus Romanus sol eug, 31, but the consuls also apply the term to the same class, Livy Roman 25, 4-4, and a statement of Cicero leg. Ager, Roman 2. 717, which has the appearance of a legal definition, makes the people of the 35 tribes under a tribune the universis populus Romanus. Rom Forsch, I 172. Sic, Fam, x 35, Ver, v14, 36 Mer. 1-1 Livy Roman 29, 27. 2, Tac, Ann, 1-8 Macrob, Sat. 117-28, cf. Mommsen, Rom Forsch, I 169 N4. E.g. Senatui Populo Plebic Romani, Cicero Fam, x 35 Address. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3. 6 N4, Soltau Ultram Volksversammel, 84. For the division of the populace into tribes and curiae, see Sic, Rep. Roman 2, 814, Livy I 13, 6 Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 7-2 App, BC Roman 3, 94, the author of Ver. Il 212, in supposing that the plebs alone were assigned to the tribes, is certainly wrong. But his mistake is pardonable in view of the general agreement among our sources that the populace, pi lambda letter 1 FC 6 theta omicron sigma, contained in the curiae were mainly plebeian. Sic, Rep. Roman 2. 713, 814, 1833, Livy I 13, 4 13-6, 28-7 30, 1 33-15, Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 46, 2F 47-1 50, 4F 55-6, Roman 3, 29-7 33, 31-3, 37-4, 48-2, Roman 4, 22, 3. Cf. Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 8-4. Livy I 1711, 35-2, 43-10, 46-1, Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 10-3, 14-3, 60, 3, 62-3, Roman 4, 12-3, 22. Cf. Lectures on the History of Rome, I 80, 83. I beg you to mark this well, that even ingenious and learned men like Livy and Dionysius did not comprehend the ancient institutions and yet have preserved a number of expressions from their predecessors from which we, with much labor and difficulty, may elicit the truth. The school of Mommsen, which still clings to Niebuhr's theory of an exclusively patrician populace, has abandoned the attempt to support it by a reconstruction of lost sources. The late regal period may have left a few documents which, if used by the annalists, might have thrown light on the condition of that time. It has not yet been determined whether the inscription recently found in the Roman Forum belongs to the late regal or to the early Republican period. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3. 69, grants to the ancients far more knowledge of their own history, but claims a wider horizon. Niebuhr treats Dionysius with great respect. Cf. Lectures I Live. The longer and more carefully the work is examined, the more must true criticism acknowledge that it is deserving of all respect, and the more it will be found a storehouse of most solid information. Schwegler, Rom, Jesch. I 621F and 626F assumes that Dionysius is alone responsible for the view that the plebeians were in the primitive tribes and the curiae. A glance at the citations given above, p. 24F, will show, however, that Cicero and Livy shared this view. Cf. Pi's Storia di Roma, I 182. The usual opinion, cf. Bernhoft, Rom Koenigs. 8F is that the sources of Dionysius are later and less trustworthy than those of Livy, but Pies asserts that on the whole the two authors drew from the same sources. Rom Jesch, I 339 Eng, 165. Lectures on Roman History, I 81, 100f. Ram, Jesh, I 332 Eng, 158. In Ibid, I 330 Eng, 162, he excludes the freed clients from the gens. In 339 Eng, 165, he states that the nobles alone had the gens, the clients belonged to it in a dependent capacity. Cf. The Edition of Sandys, 252, Rose, Aristoteles Frag, 385. Ram, Jesh, I 326 Eng 160. Gents, Patricius Ram 6 has the same idea. Il Roman 2, 362f Roman 9, 63f. CIA I 61 cf. Dem, Roman 43, 57. This is illustrated, for instance, by a law quoted by Philochorus in Muller Frag, Hist, Greek, I 399. 94. Tau Omicron letter 1 F7a, sigma delta letter 1 F72, phi rho alpha tau Omicron rho alpha sigma, letter 1 F10 pi alpha nu alpha gamma kappa epsilon sigma, delta epsilon chi epsilon sigma theta alpha iota, kappa alpha letter 1 F76, tau Omicron letter 1 F7a, sigma letter 1 F40, rho gamma epsilon letter 1 F6, nu alpha sigma kappa alpha letter 1 F76, tau Omicron letter 1 F7a sigma. Letter 1 F41 mu Omicron gamma alpha lambda alpha kappa tau alpha sigma, Omicron letter 1 F7a, sigma gamma epsilon nu letter 1 FC6, tau alpha sigma kappa alpha lambda Omicron letter 1 Fe6 mu epsilon nu. The members of the freight tree must receive the origins as well as the homogalax, whom we call geneti. This fact is now too well known to need further proof. Cf. Gilbert, Constitutional Antiquities of Sparta and Athens, 148f. Thumser, Greikisch Staatsaltertummer, 324f. P11. Top, 629. Gentiles sunt in terci qui eadem nomen sunt, non est satis, qui ab ingenuis oriendi sunt, ni id quaedam satis est, quorum maiorum nemo servitutum servavit, abest etiam nunc, qui capite non sunt deminuti, hoc forta satis est, nihil enim video scivolam pontificum ad hanc definitionem addidis, cf. Cincius in Fest, Ep. 94. As the word itself indicates, Gentiles are members of a gens and no other members are known to the sources. If it were true, as Mommsen, Ram, Stotzer, Roman 3. 66 supposes that there were dependent members not termed Gentiles, a name would have been given this dependent relation, or the jurists would have defined it, or some ancient writer would at least have mentioned it. The attempt of Kubler, Watchenshire. FKL. Philol, Roman 25, 1908. 541f, to prove, on the authority of Cicero, Tim 11. 41, that clients were termed quasi-Gentiles is simply absurd. The passage does not even hint at clientage, and the quasi-Gentiles of the immortal gods, according to this passage, were related to the gods by birth, as the word gignates proves. From this point of view, men might be called the children of the gods. But because the divine element in both men and gods comes alike from the Creator, it is possible to place them more nearly on a level with one another, in a relation like that of Gentiles. Kubler's other remarks on the gens, 539-43, are equally unconvincing. Sic Brute, 16, 32 Livy Roman 4, 16, 3 Suet, Aug. 2. Whether these two gentes had ever been patrician does not affect the question at issue. Val Max Roman 9, 2 1. Sic Har, Resp. 1532 mentions Sacrificia Gentilicia of the Calpurnia. Suet Ner, 1. Sic Dom 1335. Fest Ep 23. Vero RRI 210. Unless SB. Cassius, Consul 502, 493, 486 BC and author of the First Agrarian Rogation, is a myth. Cf. Drumengrobe, Jesh, Roms, Roman 294. Cf. Sic, Orat, I-39, 176. The patrician and plebeian branches are sometimes spoken of as distinct gentes, Suet, Tib, 1. Mommsen, Ram Forsch, I-113f, Drumengrobe, Ibid, 359. Sic Phil I-13, 32 Gel Roman 9, 211 Fest, Ep. 125. Mommsen, Ibid, 116. L. Publilius Volscus, patrician, Livy v. 12. 10. Q. Publilius Philo, plebeian, Livy Roman 8. 15-9. This patrician gens included an Ebutius who was tribune of the plebs sic. Leg. Ager, Roman 2. 821, and several other plebeians, plebs in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle. I 442 f. Mommsen, Ibid. 117 ff. V14. 4. Comites auspicato qui ferent indignum disvisum honors vulgari discriminac gentium confundi. Dom. 1335. Ita perturbatis sacris, contaminatis gentibus, etquam deseruisti etquam polluisti. Sol. Eug. 95, 3, Livy Roman 3, 27 1, 33 9, Roman 6, 11 2, Gel. X 25, cf. Roman 9, 2 11. LL Roman 8, 4. Ut in hominibus quidem sunt agnations ac gentilitates, sic in verbis. In lib. Preen. 3. It will suffice to quote Gaius Roman 3. 17. Si nullus agnatus sit idem lex Roman 12 tabularum gentiles ad hereditatem vocat, cf. Sic. Ver. I. 45 115, leg hereditas ad gentem minutium veniabet. The Minucian gens was plebeian. Its right to the inheritance in question rested on this law of the 12 tables. For the Gentile right of tutelage, see the so-called Laudatio Tyrii, 15, 22 Sil. Roman 6, 1527, Gerard, Texts, 778. Cf. p20, see also Oct, Inc., de diff. 527 Kale, gens Syrium maiorum explicat. E.g., family will take a person everywhere. C.D. Warner, quoted by the Standard Dictionary, S.V. Mommsen's theory of the gens, a development from Niebuhr's, is criticized in Paul. Sci. Quart. Roman 22, 1907, 668 f. The distinction between patrician gentes and plebeian stirps, on which he especially relies, is there shown to be groundless. Gel. Roman 15, 27 2. Roman 2, 8 4. Sane. Rom. Roman 2, 34 f. Rom. Forsch. I 233 f. 247 f. cf. Gents Pater. Rom. 70. On the Patrum Auctoritas, cp 235 below. E.g. Rom. Jesh. Roman 2, 359 Roman 3, 168, Eng Roman 2, 147 Roman 3, 73, the Common Council of the Paters, the Curiae. Sic. Frag. A. Roman 7, 48 Livy Roman 2, 56 especially section 3 Dion, Hal Roman 6, 89 1 Roman 9, 41. Livy Roman 27, 8 3. Mommsen, Rom. Forsch, I 148. Sic. Leg. Ager Roman 2, 1231. Sic. Dom. 14, 38 Livy Roman 6, 41 10. P 185 below, cf. Mommsen, Rom. Forsch, I 147 f. In the face of all evidence to the contrary, 2 or 3 scholars persist in maintaining essentially the opinion of Niebuhr that through the Republic the Curiae continued patrician. Herzog, Rom. Staatsverf. I. 98 f. 108, 1014 and 2, imagines that from the beginning the clients belonged to the Curia in its administrative capacity, shared in its sacra, attended its meetings, but did not vote. The plebs, however, were not even passive members. His reasons do not deserve mention. Vassus, letter 1 Fe 5 omega mu alpha omega nu, pi omicron lambda iota tau epsilon iota alpha, letter 1 F21 beta alpha sigma iota lambda epsilon omicron mu epsilon nu eta kappa alpha, letter 1 F21, letter 1 F10 lambda epsilon theta epsilon rho alpha, Athens, 1903, also excludes the commons from the curiate assembly throughout its history. The fancies of Hoffmann, Pater, und pleb, Curian need not detain us. Rom. Jesh, I 623 f. Cf. p. 152, 172. Cf. p. 170, 172. p. 173 ff. 345. p. 75, 96, 209. Rom. Jesh, I 625 and 3. Rom. Forsch, I 140 f. Rom. Forsch, I 269, Rom. Stotzer, Roman 3, 92. Klassen crit erort. Uber den Rom Stat 12 supposes they were admitted by the Augulnian law in 300. Gents Pater. Rom 41:62 places their admission not earlier than the institution of the Servian tribes and not later than the Decemvirate, greatly preferring the latter date. Rom Stotzer Roman 3:13 Abris 5. Rom Stotzer Roman 3:54f. Ibid Roman 3:91. Ibid Roman 3:63. Ibid Roman 3:67f. Ibid I91 N1 cf. Lange Rom Alt. I-261f reference here is only to the Auspicia Publica of the magistrates. It is established below P101ff. That from the beginning the plebeians had a right to private auspices. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3:77. Cf. Topfer, a Tisch genealogy, 177. Altram Volksversammel, 93. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3:109. P69. Rom Forsch, I106f and N80. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3:13. Rep Roman 2:20, 35. Duplicavit alum pristinum patrum numerum et antiquos paters maiorum gentium appellavit, quos priors sententiam rogabat, a si adsitos minorum. The connection shows that Cicero is speaking of two classes of senators distinguished by the rank of the gents from which they respectively came. P28f. P11f. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3:14. P17f and notes. P20f. For the sources, see Schwegler Rom, Jesch, I459f, Stengel in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 1885. Andutungen über den Ursper, Religionsunterschied der Rom, Pater und Pleb, 1f. Cf. Livy Roman 35, 51-2, serve, in Ihn, Roman 2, 761. Schwegler, Ibid, 464-8, who insists on this fact, shows clearly that no historical value attaches to the myth. See also Pies, Storia di Roma, II 218 N1. Pies, Ibid, 217 ff. Dionysius, I42f, expressly states that this story is a Greek falsification. See the examples collected by Pies, Ibid. Cf. Livy I8, 5. Cf. Ibid, Roman 2, 1-4. Dionysius, I85. 3, states that the colonists from Alba were mostly plebeians, but that a considerable number of the highest nobility accompanied them. It is a significant fact, however, that no patrician family is known to have derived its origin from this earliest colony. Those who claimed Alban and Trojan descent preferred to connect their admission to citizenship with the Roman annexation of Alba Longa, e.g., the Tullii, Serviliae, Quinctii, Geganiae, Curiatiae, and Cloliae, Livy I30. 2 on the Alban and Sabine origin of most of the nobility, Livy Roman 4, 4. 7 insofar as the local cognomina are indicative of origin cf. Willems, Sain, Rom, I11ff. They point to a diversity of foreign connections. The Tarquinian gens, which in later time was thought of as patrician, came from Etruria, ultimately from Greece. The Emulae were Greek plut, em, 1 fest, ep, 23 or Sabine plut, num, 8 or Oscan fest, 131. Cf. P31 above. For details, see Paul, Sci, Quart, Roman 22, 679 ff. That Curiae was the first community to receive the Civita's sign suffragio may justly be inferred from the expression Carite franchise, which designates this kind of limited citizenship, cf. P62. The general fact stated in 6 is further confirmed by the law which granted the right of extending the pomerium to those magistrates only who had acquired new territory for Rome, Gel. Roman 13, 14-3, Tacitus Ann, Roman 12, 23. Since the publication of the Staatsrecht, writers have made slight modifications or extensions of the conventional theory. Greenidge, in post, Gaii Institutions, Roman 19, suggests that the dual forms in Roman law may have as their basis a racial distinction between the patricians and the plebeians. A serious objection to this kind of reasoning is that if we are on the lookout for dualities, trinities, and the like, we shall find them in abundance everywhere. All sorts of theories as to the racial connections of the two social classes have been proposed. Zoller, Latium und Rom, 23ff, supposes that the patricians were Sabine and the plebeians Latin. Ridgway, Early Age of Greece, I-257, holds that the plebeians were Ligurians, whereas Conway in Riv. de Stor. Ant, Romans 7, 1903, 422-4 prefers to consider them Volscians. These notions are equally worthless. Undoubtedly, race is a potent factor in history, but Gumplovich, Rassenkampf, 1883, has killed the theory by overwork. Among the writers who have rejected the conventional view are Soltau Altram, Volksversammlung, 1880, Bernhoft Rom Konings, 1882, Pelham Outlines of Roman History, 1893, reprint of his article on Roman history in the Encycl. Brit. Mayer Jesch, D. Alt, Roman II, 1893, Halsapfel in Bader, Z. Alt, Jesch, I. 1902, 254. Mayer Jesch, D. Alt, Roman II. 80. Featherman, Social History of the Races of Mankind, Roman II, 408. Helwold Kulturgeschichte, I. 175 Barth, Philosophie der Geschichte, I. 382. It would be practicable by the citation of authorities to prove the existence of such distinctions in nearly every community, present or past, whose social condition is sufficiently known. Giddings, Principles of Sociology, 124. Tard, Laws of Imitation, 233f. Fairbanks, Introduction to Sociology, 158. Grave l'individu et la société, 23. Funkbrentano, Civilization et ses lois, 71f. Kasperi, Urgeschichte der Menschheit, I. 125f. Helwold, Ibid. I. 175, 177. Ross, Social Control, 80. Giddings, Ibid. 262. Ammon, Gesellschaftsordnung, 133f. Cherbulies, Simples Notions de l'ordre social et l'usage de tout le monde, 38f. D. Chesney, Conception du droit, 36. Grave, Ibid. 23f. Kasperi, Ibid. I. 133f. Harris, Civilization Considered as a Science, 211. Lepeletier de la Sarthe, System Social, I. 329. Mismer, Principes Sociologiques, 63f. Rossbach, Geschichte der Gesellschaft, I. 13f. Schertz, Urgeschichte der Kultur, 385. Hiddel, Mankind in Ancient Times, I. 228f. Maine, Early History of Institutions, 130. Seabohm, Tribal System in Wales, 139. Post, A. H. Anfang des Staats und Rechtslebens, 150f. Giddings, Ibid. 262, cf. Arndt, Die Materiellen Grundlagen der Europäischen Kultur, 444f. Froschemmer, Organisation und Kultur der Mensch. Gesellschaft, 84f. Bastian, Rechtsverhältnis bei Verschiedenen Völkern der Erde, 20f. Spencer, Principles of Sociology, Roman II. 333, 335. Fraser, Early Hist. Of the Kingship, Spencer, Ibid, Roman II, 338f. cf. For the Malays, Skeet and Blagden, Pagan Races of the Malay Peninsula, 499. cf. Rubino, Romverf, 183, Spencer, Ibid, Roman II, 334f. Seabohm, Tribal System in Wales, 72. Aristotle, Politics, 1294-21. Giddings, Principles of Sociology, 293f. Jenks, History of Politics, 30f. Grave l'individu et la société, 25. Coombs de Lestrade, Elements de Sociology, 185. Schertz, Urgeschichte der Kultur, 148, 385. Featherman, Social History of the Races of Mankind, C. Index, S. Classes. Hiddel, Mankind in Ancient Times, I. 228. Maine, Early History of Institutions, 134. Ginnell, Brehan Laws, 60f. Farrand, Basis of American History, 114, 201. Blunchley, Theory of the State, 149. Grave, Ibid, 30f. Coombs de Lestrade, Ibid. 184f. Funkbrentano, Civilization et ses lois, 68f. Spencer, Ibid. Roman II, 348f. Schertz, Ibid. 150f. Featherman, Ibid. Roman II. 128, 197f. 311 Letourneau, Sociology, 480f. Bastian, Rechtsverhältnis, 8f. cf. Schertz, Ibid. 148. Farrand, Ibid. 114, 129, 141. For the Malays, see Skeet and Blagden, Ibid. 494 ff. Maine, Ibid. 132. Maine, Ibid. Ginnell Brehan Laws, 63f, 93f. Seabohm, Tribal System in Wales, 134f. As in Wales, Sebom Ibid, 139, cf. The Inca grandees who all claimed descent from the founder of the monarchy, Leterno Sociology 479. Tac. Germ, 13.3, Insignes nobilitas aut magna patrum merita principes dignationem etiam adolescentialis adsignant. It is clear that the family of a youth who receives an office or dignity, because of the merits of his ancestors, is coming near to nobility. A certain man of illegitimate birth, hence of inferior social standing, through martial skill and daring becomes a leader of warriors, acquires wealth, marries the daughter of a notable, waxes dread and honorable among his countrymen, who elect him to a high military command by the side of their hereditary chief. The taint of his birth is forgotten. Odd, Roman 14, 199, cf. Bernhoft, Rom Conics, 123. Livy Roman 8, 3912 x 38, 7, Nobilissimum quemque gener factisque, with reference to the Samnites, some were nobles by birth, others by prowess, cf. 46. 4. Nobles aliquot captivi clari suis patrumque factis ducti. Some of these captives were noble through their own prowess, others through that of their ancestors. The Samnite nobility was in the formative stage like that of the German nobility in the time of Tacitus. The Yakonen of California are in this condition. Ferrand, Basis of American History, 129. Main Early Hist. Of Inst. 135 f. Giddings, Principles of Sociology, 294 f. Cf. Giddings Ibid. Main Ibid, 136. Laws of Athelstan. Giddings, Principles of Sociology, 296. Cf. Main Early Hist. Of Inst. 141. Thus, in the time of Tacitus, the German youth of common blood who entered the comitatus of a chief had a fair opportunity to become noble, Germ. 1335, 14. 1f among the Danes, 2. Some noble families were once peasant, Main, Ibid, 135. Brunner, Deutschrechtsgeschichte, I 235f, 252, Main, Ibid, 138, Ammon, Gesellschaftsordnung, 135. Schertz, Urgeschichte der Kultur, 148f. Blunchley, Theory of the State, 131, 155. Tard, Laws of Imitation, 237. Giddings, Principles of Sociology, 315, cf. Coombs de Lestrade, Elements de Sociology, 185, Rossbach, Jesch, Der Gesellschaft. I 14. A nobility formed purely by conquest, if such indeed exists, must be rare and can hardly be lasting. Schertz, Urgesch. Der Kull, 149. Giddings, Ibid, 315, cf. Grave, L'individu et la société, 32. Strabo Roman 8, 44, p. 364, Aristotle, Politics, 1270, a 34. Schertz, Urgesch, Der Kult, 165. Ginnel, Brehan Laws, 145. Blunchley, Theory of the State, 142. Freeman, Norman Conquest, Roman 4, 11. There were nobles both in England and in Normandy before the conquest. After the Battle of Senlac, most of the English nobles submitted to William and were allowed to redeem their lands. Freeman, Ibid, Roman 4, 13f. 36f. It was only in punishment for later rebellion that they lost their holdings, and some English thanes were never displaced. Cf. Powell, Intrail, Social England, I 240. The most violent and oppressive Germanic invaders are supposed to have been the Vandals, and yet they doubtless retained for the administration of the government the trained Roman officials. Hodgkin, Italy and her invaders, Roman 2, 263. The Ostrogoths were more liberal in their treatment of the Romans, Ibid, Roman 4, 250, 271, 282, and the Franks still more liberal. Brunner, Deutschrechtsgeschichte, Roman 2, 202. Featherman, Social History of the Races of Mankind, Roman 2, 354, Tard, Laws of Imitation, 238, N1, 239, Hellwold Kulturgeschichte, I 175f, Schertz, Urgesch, Der Kult, 149, cf. Demoulins, Comment la route crée le type social. P16. P37, N4. P31, Paul, Sci, Quart, Roman 22, 1907, 679 ff. The idea that the primitive community is essentially illiberal with its membership is erroneous. For the mingling of conquerors and conquered, CP 42F and notes. On the ethnic heterogeneity of states in general, see Gumplovich, Rassenkamp, 181. The laws of Solon granted citizenship to alien residents who were in perpetual exile from their own country, or who had settled with their families in Attica with a view to plying their trade. Plut. Sol. 24. Under his laws, too, a valid marriage could be contracted between an Athenian and an alien. HDT. Romans 6, 130. The Athenians, like the Romans, believed that many of their noble families were of foreign origin. In Ireland, strangers settling in the district, conducting themselves well, and intermarrying with the clan were after a few generations indistinguishable from it. Ginnell, Brehon Laws, 103. Nearly the same rule holds for South Wales. Seabohm, Tribal System in Wales, 131. To the Germans before their settlement within the empire, the idea of an exclusive community must have been foreign, for as yet the individual was but loosely attached to his tribe. Persons of many tribes were united in the comitatus of a chief. The two halves of a tribe often fought on opposite sides in war. A tribe often chose its chief from another tribe. Intermarriage among the tribes was common, even between Germans and Sarmatians. A single tribe often split into several independent tribes, and conversely new tribes were formed of the most diverse elements. Seek, Geskich des Untergangs der Antikenwelt, I. 209 with notes. Kaufmann, Die Germanen der Urzeit, 136f. Under these circumstances, the primitive German community cannot be described as exclusive. In like manner, our sources unanimously testify to the liberality of early Rome in granting the citizenship to strangers. It is no longer possible to oppose to this authority the objection that such generosity does not accord with primitive conditions. Gaius I 120f. Mommsen's theory of Gentile ownership, adopted by Kubitschek in Pauliwiswa Real and Cycle. I 790 depends upon his view that the gens was as old as the state. In his opinion, it was originally stronger but gradually weakened, whereas the state went through the opposite process. Rom Stotzer. Roman 3, 25. But if, as I have elsewhere pointed out, Paul, Sci. Quart. Roman 22, 685 ff. The gens developed from the family during the decline of the kingship and the rise of aristocracy. The theory of a primitive Gentile ownership falls to the ground. We are not to think of the state as granting a certain district to the tribe, which then parceled it among the component curiae, etc., for this reason that the tribes and the curiae did not themselves possess common lands. Rather, the state divided a given district among the families which were already included, or which it wished to include, in a given curia or tribe. In this way, the later tribes were formed in historical time, and in this way the Claudian tribe was originally constituted. Livy Roman 2. 16, 4f, cf, Plut, Popul, 21. When therefore Dionysius, Roman 2. 7-4, states that Romulus divided the land into 30 lots and assigned a lot to each of the 30 curiae, he means, if he correctly understands the matter, that land was assigned not to the curia as a whole, but to the families which composed the curia, unless indeed the curiae once had a right of landholding not possessed in historical time. Christ W. in Sitzp, D. Burrell, Akkad, D. Wiss, 1906, 207. In the 12 Tables Heredium has the meaning of hortus, garden, Pliny, N.H. Roman 19, 450. It was a pretium parvulum consisting of 2 eugera, fest, ep. 99. In the earliest colonies, this was the amount assigned to each man. Cf. Livy Roman 4, 47-6 Labici, Roman 6, 16, 6 Satricum, Roman 8, 21, 11 Terracina founded 329. The first two are not so distinctly historical as the third, Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 24 n1. Supposing Rome to have been a colony, the historians infer that Romulus made a similar distribution among its earliest settlers. Cf. Varro, RRI 10-2 Pliny N.H. Roman 18. 27 Fest, Ep. 53 Juvenal Roman 14. 163 F. Siculus Flaccus 153 Livy Roman 6. 3611 Plut, Popul. 21 Columella v19 Nissen, Idle, Landesk, Roman 2, 507. Cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer Roman 3, 23 f. Dion Hal Roman 4, 13-1 Varro de Witt, Pop, Rom I in non, Mark 43, Livy I 46. 1. Dion, Hal, V 57 3, Plut, Popul, 21. Moreover, the division into the 5 classes was based on unequal holdings. Cf. Mayer Jesh, D. Alt, Roman 2, 518 n. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 168. Dion, Hal, Roman 4, 14. 2 might refer to a condition in which land was still inalienable and the right of changing residence restricted. The text followed is that of Jacobi. The reading represented by Jordan Cotto, p8, is not satisfactory. We have no ground for impugning the statement of Dionysius that Fabius actually called the country districts phili tribes. He may have termed them at once mu omicron letter 1 fd6 rho alpha iota, regions, and phili with perfect consistency, cf. Kubitschek Rom Trib, or 7 N34. Rom Jesh, I 434 7, English 205 f. Verf D serve, 95 f. Cf. Hushk Verf, D serve, 72 ff, who supposed that the 26 rural regions were in most respects like tribes, but contained only plebeians who were politically inferior to the city people. See also Schwegler Rom, Jesh, I 736 f. Rom Tribus followed by Grotefend Imp, Rom Trib, Desker. The supposition that there were originally but 4 rests upon those passages which mention only that number in connection with Servius, as Livy 14313, Fest, Ep. 368, Oral, Vict, Ver, Il 77, the discussion of the 4 city tribes as though they were the only Servian tribes by Dionysius, Roman 4. 14. 1. Whereas in the next chapter he describes those also of the country, and the designation of the rural districts as regions rather than tribes by Varro, de Witt. Pop. Rom, I in non, Mark, 43, et extra urbum in regions Roman 26 agros viritum liberis attribuit. In LLV 56, however, he calls the country districts tribes. Grotefend Ibid, 27. Inferred from an obscure passage in Fest, 213-13, and from inscriptions cited by Mommsen, Rom Trib, 215, Grotefend Ibid, 67. Lange Rom Alt, I 504 Herzog Rom Staatsverf, I 39 in N, 2 Pelham Rom Hist, 39 Soltau Altram, Volksversammel, 457 ff. Greenidge Rom, Pub, Life 67. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 163 ff. Mommsen calls attention to epigraphic evidence, cited more fully by Kubitschek, Imp, Romtrib, Disker. 26 f, which assigns Ostia unmistakably to the Voceria tribus. He notices further that the same sort of evidence which places Ostia in the Palatina would give Puteoli, Sutrium, Canusium, and Fundi to the same city tribe, which is impossible. The error of including Alba and Ostia in the Palatina is due to neglect of the fact that men excluded from the country tribes were assigned to those of the city irrespective of domicile. Cf. Rom, Stotzer, Roman 3, 442 f with notes. Store D. Rom, II 320 N1 relying on Livy Roman 9, 46, 14. Fest 246. 30. Pro sensu classis eunirum ser. Tullius cum dixerit in description centuriarum, cf. 249 1, Livy 1, 64 Roman 4, 42, Cicero Rep Roman 2, 2239 writes descriptio which Lange Rom Alt I 464 following Butcheler in Rhine, Muse, Roman 13 1858, 598 accepts as the correct form. P 67. Fabius Pictor in Livy 144 2. Altogether unnecessary therefore is Soltau's supposition Altram. Volksversammel, 458 N2, in itself improbable that Fabius, who wrote his annals in Greek, applied the word phi upsilon lambda alpha iota incorrectly to the rural districts. However that may be, Cato, as good an authority, spoke of these same districts as tribes. If the number 30 was suggested to Fabius by the curiate organization, cf. Ulrich, Centuriate Commission, 9, this circumstance would be no argument against the existence of country tribes. On the strength of the army in the early republic, see P 83. P 57. Ibid, cf. Pi's leg of Rom Hist, 140. just as he supposed the suburana to have been evolved, name and all, from the Pagus succusanus, LLV 48, cf. Fest, 302-15, Ep. 115. Varro de Vit. Pop. Rom. I in non. Mark. 43. Et extra urbum in Reginis Roman 26 agros viridum liberis attribuit. As this statement does not rest upon an independent source, but is merely an interpretation of Fabius and Cato, it has not the value which Huschke Verf. D. Serv. 72f 85f Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 168f and Mayer and Hermes XXX, 11, attached to it. Cf. Livii 43, 13, Fest, Ep. 368. Roman 4, 14. Dion Hal Roman 4, 15. Dion Hal Roman 4, 15, 46. His idea of a census of the country people he derived from Lucius Pius, section 5f, and from the censor's office through Fabius, 22. 2. A fact which militates against Mommsen's theory that under Servius the country was not yet ager privatus. Livy Roman 6, 5-8. P. 56. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 162 ff. Jesh D. Alt, V 135, 142, Hermes XXX, 11, accepted by Newman Grunterish. D. Rom Rep 14f, Kornemann in Clio V 90. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 168. P. 50. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 164f. Ibid, 163 and N3, in opposition to his former view and that of Grotefend, cf. P. 52. There might remain the conjecture that the regions, or pagi, had the same constitution as the tribes, but in that case the difference between pagus and tribus would be one of name only, and would therefore be without historical significance. Mayer's view, Jesh, D. Alt. V. 135, 142, that the 16 earliest country tribes were not formed till after the institution of the plebeian tribunate, depends partly on his notion that the tribunes were originally the heads of the 4 urban tribes and partly on the difference in the naming, the city tribes being named after localities and the country tribes after gentes. Cf. Hermes, XXX. 11. The latter circumstance, he asserts, establishes a later origin for the rural tribes. This argument is by no means convincing. The difference may have arisen from different conditions in country and city. Probably no urban ward had one patrician gens so predominant as to give its name. If one kind of name is earlier than another, we should naturally suppose the gentile name to be the earlier, and in that case we should prefer the view of Pies, Store, D. Rom. II 320 N1 leg, of Rom, Hist, 140 cf, above P 52 N2. The patrician gentile name does not imply patrician domination, any more than the Eupatrid name of an Attic deme implies Eupatrid domination of that deme. Hermes XXX, 12, followed by Newman Grunterish D. Rom Rep. 13f, Kornemann in Clio V 90f. P6. Among the scholars who insist that originally country as well as city was divided into tribes are Muller, J.J. in Philol, Roman 34, 1876, 112 ff, and more recently Kubitschek de Trib, or 1882 imp, Romtrib Disker. 1889 2 Balak Idle, Bund 1880, 28 begins with 21 tribes in 495, considering it impossible to penetrate earlier conditions. Nice Rom, Jesh. 1906, 38 and N3 more positively assigns the creation of 21 tribes to that date. Livy Roman 2, 16, 5 cf, Dion Hal V40, 5. In Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 3, 2650. Some place the immigration in the time of Titus Tatius, Verg. Ein, Roman 7, 706 ff. Suet, Tib. 1 Appian Reg. 12 Mommsen Rom Forsch, I 293 Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 26 N1, that the earlier tradition assigned the event to the date mentioned in the text is asserted by Munzer in Pauli Wiswa Ibid, Roman 3, 2663. Livy Roman 2, 21-7 495, Rami tribus una et xxx facti. This statement is not that 31 tribes were instituted in that year, but that the number 31 was reached, facti being copulative. If una et xxx is not a copyist's error, it probably depends on the Fabian view that there were originally 30 tribes. At all events, it is inconsistent with the later statement, Romans 6. 5. 8. That the number 25 was not reached till 387. The epitomator of Livy accordingly corrected the number to 21, which most editors now write in the text itself. That there were 21 tribes in 491 when Coriolanus was tried is assumed too by Dion. Hal, Romans 7. 64-6. Mu iota letter 1 fb6, sigma gamma letter 1 f70, rho kappa alpha letter 1 f76, epsilon letter 1 f34 kappa omicron, sigma iota tau omicron tau epsilon phi upsilon lambda letter 1 ff6, nu omicron letter 1 f50, sigma letter 1 ff6 nu. Omicron letter 1 f36, sigma letter 1 f21, psi letter 1 fc6, phi omicron sigma letter 1 f00 nu epsilon delta omicron theta. Tau letter 1 f70, sigma letter 1 f00 pi omicron lambda upsilon sigma alpha sigma, phi upsilon lambda letter 1 f70, sigma letter 1 f14 sigma chi epsilon nu, letter 1 f41 mu alpha rho kappa iota omicron sigma, letter 1 f10 nu epsilon alpha, letter 1 f64 sigma tau, epsilon letter 1 f30, delta epsilon omicron, pi rho omicron sigma letter 1 fc6, lambda theta omicron nu. Alpha letter 1 f50, tau letter 1 ff7 phi upsilon lambda alpha iota. Delta iota letter 1 f70, tau letter 1 f74, nu letter 1 f30 sigma omicron psi eta phi iota alpha nu, letter 1 f00 pi epsilon lambda upsilon tau, letter 1 f04 nu, letter 1 f65 sigma pi epsilon rho, letter 1 f41 nu omicron mu omicron sigma, letter 1 f20 psi ode omicron upsilon. There being at the time 21 tribes. To whom the vote was given, Marcius received the votes of 9 tribes for acquittal, so that, had 2 more tribes been favorable, he would have been acquitted by an equality of votes as the law required. This is not a mistake, as many assume, but an understatement. Cf. Muller J. in Philol. Roman 34, 1876. 110 F. Mayer's explanation, Hermes, XXX. 10, N2, which makes delta iota letter 1 f70, tau letter 1 f74, nu letter 1 f30 sigma omicron psi eta phi lambda iota alpha nu signify, owing to the equal value of the votes, is improbable and unnecessary. For the form of the word, see Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. Roman 3, 171, Kubitschek in Pauli Wisła, Real and Cycle. Roman 4, 117, Crustumeria had been taken 4 years earlier, Livy Roman 2. 19.2, 499, so that a tribe of the same name could have been admitted in 495. Livy Roman 6, 5.8. Ibid, Roman 8, 15.12. Ibid, 17.11. Ibid, Roman 9.20, 6. Ibid, X 9.14. Ibid, Ep, Roman 19. BC I 49, 214. Letter 1 Fe5 omega mu alpha letter 1 FD6. Omicron iota mu letter 1 f72, nu delta letter 1 f74, tau omicron epsilon sigma delta epsilon, tau omicron letter 1 f7a, sigma nu epsilon omicron pi omicron lambda iota tau alpha sigma, omicron letter 1 f50, kappa letter 1 f10 sigma, tau letter 1 f70, sigma pi epsilon nu tau epsilon, kappa alpha letter 1 f76, tau rho iota alpha kappa omicron nu tau alpha. Phi upsilon lambda letter 1 f70 sigma, alpha letter 1 f33, tau omicron tau epsilon, letter 1 f26 sigma alpha nu, alpha letter 1 f50, tau omicron letter 1 fd6, sigma, cap alpha tau epsilon lambda epsilon psi alpha nu. Letter 1 f35 nu alpha, mu letter 1 f74 tau, letter 1 ff6, nu letter 1 f00 rho chi alpha iota omega nu, pi lambda epsilon omicron nu epsilon sigma, letter 1 f44 nu tau epsilon sigma, letter 1 f10 nu, tau alpha letter 1 fd6, sigma, chi epsilon iota rho omicron tau omicron nu iota alpha iota sigma, letter 1 f10, pi iota kappa rho alpha tau omicron letter 1 fd6 epsilon nu. Letter 1 f00, lambda lambda letter 1 f70, delta epsilon kappa alpha tau epsilon omicron nu tau epsilon sigma, letter 1 f00 pi epsilon phi eta nu alpha nu, letter 1 f11 tau epsilon rho alpha sigma. Letter 1 f10 nu alpha letter 1 f37, sigma, letter 1 f10 chi epsilon iota rho omicron tau omicron nu epsilon nu, letter 1 f14 sigma chi alpha tau omicron iota. For delta epsilon cap alpha tau epsilon upsilon omicron u tau epsilon sigma, scholars have attempted to substitute delta epsilon cap alpha pi epsilon u tau epsilon, delta epsilon cap alpha, letter 1 F10 nu epsilon delta rho epsilon upsilon omicron u tau epsilon sigma. Mendelssohn, App Roman 2. p53 n. The meaning given in the rendering offered above, though not found elsewhere, is possible. The passage has reference to the Latins and faithful Italians, admitted by the Julian Law of 90. Roman 3. 17, Peter, Reliquiae I 280. L. Calpurnius Pies ex Senati consulto duas novas tribus. Roman 2, 22. Kubitschek, Imp, Romtrib. Disker. 26 tries to prove that the Lex Iulia 90 provided for the enrollment of the Latins and faithful allies in 15 old rural tribes, and that the Lex Placia Papiria 89 assigned the more obstinate rebels to 8 other existing rural tribes. Cf. Madvig Romstott, I-26F. BC I-53, 231. That there was an increase is held by Mommsen, Romstotzer. Roman 3, 179 N1, Drumengrobe Rom, Jesh, Roman 2, 370. This view is favored by Long Rom Rep Roman 2, 199 F Lange Rom, Alt, Roman 3, 111 F Compromises. Livy Ep LXXva App, BC I-55, 242, p. 404. App BC I-59 268, Sic, Phil Roman 8, 27. Vel Roman 2, 22 Livy Ep, LXXiv App, BC I-64, 287 Sic, Ibid, Exup, 4 Mommsen Romstotzer, Roman 3, 180 439. Livy Ep, LXXXVI. Mommsen Ibid, 180. p. 71. Their military purpose is recognized by Dion, Hal, Roman 4, 14, 2 whereas Livy I-43, 13 connects with them nothing but the collection of taxes. Livy I-43, 13, Pliny NH Roman 18, 313, Varro LLV 45 Mommsen Romstotzer, Roman 3, 166 N1. Dion, Hal Roman 4, 14, 2 Laelius Felix in Gel Roman 15, 27.5 Flaccus in Gel Roman 17, 7.5 in referring to the year 204 Livy Roman 29, 37, 3F represents the tribes as districts. The Pupinian tribe is often spoken of as a district, as by Varro RRI 9. 5 on the local nature of the urban tribes, see Varro LLV 56, Livy I 43. 13, Dion, Hal. Roman 4 14, 1. Kubitschek Romtrib, or 24F Imp, Romtrib Disker, 2. Cf. Grotfend Imp, Romtrib Desker, 7. Kubitschek Imp, Romtrib Disker, 2F. Sic, Flack, 32, 79F on the growth of the tribe, see Mommsen, Rom, Stotzer, Roman 3, 175 FF. Kubitschek Ibid. See also the maps in the latter work. Flaccus in Gel, Roman 17, 7.5 a list was kept of the estates comprising a tribe, Sic, Ibid. Cf. The admission of new tribes, Livy Roman 6, 5.8, Tribus quatuor ex novis civibus additi, Roman 8, 1711. Dion Hal Roman 4, 14.2. p. 64. Livy Roman 29, 37, 3F, Soltau, Altram, Volksversammel, 379 N3. Somewhat different is the view of Mommsen, Romtrib, 2F, Rom Forsch, I-151, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 402, controverted by Soltau, Ibid, 384 FF. The Romans had but 2 pursuits, agriculture and war, for the sedentary occupations were given to slaves and strangers. Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 28, Roman 9. 25-2 it was assumed that those who were without property could take no interest in the state. Ibid, Roman 4, 9-3F, Livy Roman 8. 20, 4. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 630. It is well known, too, that freedmen were not regularly employed in military service. Livy X 21. 4, p. 354 f below. Widows and orphans were enrolled in a different list from that of the tribes, and hence were not included in the statistics of population which have come down to us. Cf. Livy Roman 3, 39, ep. Lix, Plut, Popul 12 Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 365 f. 401 Livy Roman 2, 56-3, seems to exclude the clients. Only those lacked membership, however, who possessed no land. Clients of free birth were as liable to military service according to their rateable property as any other class of citizens. P. 22. Law of the 12 Tables in Gel, Roman 16, 10-5 Skal Leg Duo Tab Rel, 116 Bruns Font, Ear, 18f Sick, Rosk, AM, 1851 at, Roman 4, 8a3 Fest, Ep 9 Caris, P75 Kale. The derivation from Abbasid Dando proposed by Aelius Stilo, though absurd, was accepted by Sick. Rep Roman 2, 22, 40 Top, 210 Fest, Ep 9 as an alternative, Isid, Edem, X27 Quint. Inst V10, 55. The derivation ab accidendo is nearer the truth, Vanichik Greichlat, Wordurb, 1012 Lange Rom Alt, I 466, Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 237 f. Kubitschek in Pauli Wiswa Real Encycle, I 426. See also Varro de Witt. Pop. Rom, I in non Mark, 67 Gel, Roman 19, 815. Sick, Rep Roman 2, 916, 2240 P. Nigidius in Gel, X52 Fest Ep. 9 119 Pliny NH Roman 18, 311 Quint, V10, 55 Ovid Fast V, 281 Vanichek Ibid, 506 1149. The army in the field must have consisted largely of men in patris aut avi potestate, whose names were reported to the censors, not for taxation but for military service by those who had authority over them. Cf. Livy Roman 24, 11-7 Roman 43, 14 Dion, Hal Roman 9, 36-3 Fest, Ep. 66, Scipio's Complaint Gel, V19. 16 In alia tribu patrum in alia filium suffragum fair, indicates that the sons were regularly enrolled in the tribe of the father. That the list comprised plebeians only Niebuhr Rom, Jesh, I 457 f. has proved untenable, Mommsen Rom Forsch, I 153 f. Dion Hal Roman 4, 14. 2. Livy I 43. 14. Varro LLV 181. Livy Ibid, Varro Ibid, cf. P63 N4 below. Dion Hal Roman 4, 19-3 Fest, Ep. 9 Aeneas in Gel, Roman 16, 10-1 cf. 12f. Before the introduction of pay for military service in 406 the soldiers bore their own expenses. Livy Roman 4, 59-11 V45 Roman 8, 8-3 Floor, I68 Diod Roman 14, 16, 5 Lid, de Mag, I45f, P71ff, below. Plutarch Cam. 2. Makes Camillus the author of the tax on orphans for the support of the knights' horses, thus connecting this measure with the general introduction of pay, a statement of some importance notwithstanding Kubitschek in Pauli Wiswa, Real Encycle. I 683. Zahn, Roman 7. 20. Omicron letter 1F30, Kappa Omicron Sigma Iota Tau Omicron Iota, letter 1F10 Sigma Tau Rho Alpha Tau Epsilon Upsilon Omicron U Tau Omicron. Sic Rep V23. Marquart Rom, Stotzv, Roman 2, 150 f, 159 f with citations. Sic Rep Roman 2, 20, 36, Livy I 43, 9, Plut, Cam 2. Lange, Rom Alt, I 469, is of the opinion that before Servius all the plebeians had this standing, and that Servius left the newly conquered plebeians in that class, because if admitted to the army, they might revolt. Cf. Herzog, Rom Stotzwerf, I 95. On the meaning of the word, see Sud. Ascon, 103, ut pro capite su tributi nomen era preberit. On the removal from the tribe into this class, Livy Roman 4, 24-7 Roman 24, 18-6 8 43-3 Roman 44, 16, 8. The removal from the tribe is understood when it is not mentioned, Varro in non, Mark, 190 Livy Roman 9, 34-9 Roman 27, 11-15 Gel. Roman 4, 12. Livy Roman 7, 27 Diocas. Frag, 33 Strabo v23 Gel, Roman 1613. 7 Skal Hor, Ep. I662. On the Erara and Carites see further Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 392 401 ff, 406, Kubitschek in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle. I674 6 Roman 3, 1284 f, Hulson Ibid. Roman 3, 1281 f. See also the works of Herzog, Lange, Madvig, and Willems. p. 466, n2. It would be absurd to suppose that while the absolutely poor citizens could vote in the proletarian century, those who possessed considerable wealth, though not in land, were excluded. Unutterable confusion was brought into this subject by Varro, L.L., v. 181, Tributum dictum a tribubus quadi pecunia qui populo imperata erat, tributum a singulis pro portion census exigebetter. Cf. Livy I43, 13, Isid, Edom, Roman 16, 18:7. Neither is tributum derived from tribus nor vice versa. Tribura signifies to divide, to apportion, tributum, that which is apportioned, tribus being only indirectly connected with these words. Schlossmann in Archive F. Lat. Lexicog. Roman 14, 1905, 2540. Livy Roman 6, 14, 12. Ibids 32, 1. Dion Hal v20, cf. Roman 4, 11 2 63 2, Plut, Popul, 12. Livy Roman 2, 9 6 Roman 23, 48 8 Roman 33, 42 4 Roman 39, 7 5 Pliny Nh Roman 34, 623 Marquart Rom Stotzv Roman 2, 162 n4. Instances of public expenditure for the equipment or pay of troops before this date. Dion Hal v 47, 1 Roman 8, 68 3 Roman 9, 59 4 Livy Roman 4 36. 2 are either exceptional or more probably historical anticipations of later usage. That before 406 the soldiers drew pay from their tribes, Mommsen Rom Trib. 32 Lange Rom Alt. I 540 is disproved by Soltau Altram Volksversammel. 407 f. Marquart Ibid, 164 7. Cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 392. Varro, LLV 181. The function of the tribuni erara was to pay the soldiers. Cato Epist, Quist, I in Gel, Roman 6 Roman 7, 10-2 Varro v 181 Fest, Ep 2 Pliny Nh Roman 34, 1-1. Perhaps they also collected money into the treasury, sic. At I 16. 3 From Cato's statement they appear to have been financially responsible, and we are informed that as early as 100 they constituted a rank, ordo, evidently next below the equites, sic. Rab. Perd. 927. Under the Aurelian law of 70 they made up a decury of jurors, sic. At I 16. 3 Pliny Nh Roman 33, 131. From these facts it is clear that the Aerarian tribunes were officers of the aerarium, but no connection with the tribes can be discovered. Soltau Altram, Volksversammel, 409-12. Diod Roman 20, 46 Livy Roman 9, 46, 10f cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 403. Mommsen Ibid. This class came to an end in the social war, Kubitschek in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 3, 1285. In Mommsen's opinion, Rom Stotzer. Roman 2, 403, these censors transferred to the country tribes as many land-holding members of the urban tribes as possible. Livy Roman 9, 46, 13f. Livy Roman 45, 15. The expression tribu mover, or in Aerarios refera, was still used, but meant no more than the transfer from a rural to an urban tribe and to the Aerarian class within the latter. p. 62, n7. Cf. Livy Roman 24, 18-8f. Livy Roman 24, 43, 2f sic, Cluent 42, 120. p. 86. I 43. The account given by Dionysius Hal, Roman 4, 16f Roman 7, 59 is the same in principle, though slightly different in detail. p. 52. Fest 246, 30 or Descriptio Classium, Ibid, 249-1. Livy I 60, 4. quoted by Sick, Oret, 46, 156 for the forms Centuria Fabrum and Procum. Varro, LL Roman 6. 86-8 is an extract from the tabulae of later time, cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 245 n1. p. 52. Proof of the date is the fact that the ratings are in the sextentarian as, legally adopted in 269 or 268, page 86. The as of this standard was valued at 1/10 of a denarius, so that 1,000 asses equals 100 denarii equals 1 mina. Dion. Hal, Roman 4. 16f, Polyb. Roman 6. 2315. Omicron letter 1f31 letter 1f51 pi letter 1f72 rho tau letter 1f70 sigma mu epsilon rho ode alpha sigma tau ode mu omega mu epsilon nu omicron iota delta rho alpha chi mu alpha sigma, descriptive of the highest rating, 100,000 asses. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. Roman 3. 249 n4. Hill, Greek and Roman coins, 47. It could not have been later than 241, in which year the reform of the Centuriate Assembly must have been far advanced, if not completed. Page 215. p. 84. It is wrong to suppose with Soltau, in Job, FCL, Philol, Roman 41, 1895, 412 n6, that all the details of the Servian system were known only in this way. Cf. Livy I 44, 2 Dion Hal Roman 4, 15-1. Smith, Rom Timacher, 9 ff, supposes Calpurnius Pies to have been the intermediary, but a problem in which so many of the quantities are unknown is incapable of solution. p. 205, n5 215. Livy I 43, 8 Dion Hal Roman 4, 18-2 p. 207. p. 80. p. 81. p. 81. p. 82f. Livy Roman 8, 8-3 Dion Hal Roman 4, 22, 1. It is unnecessary here to consider the question as to the historical personality of Servius Tullius. In this volume, the name will be given to the king or group of kings who instituted the so-called Servian tribes and the military centuries and made a beginning of the census. p. 201. Helbig sur les attributs des Saliens in Mémoires de l'Acad d. Insker, et Belslet, Roman 37 1906, 230 ff, cf. Comptes rendus de l'Acad, etc. 1904, Roman 2, 206-12. Helbig finds that the Latino-Etruscan equipments of the time preceding Hellenic influence, as shown by archaeology, correspond closely with those of the Salii, whom he regards therefore as religious survivals from that early civilization. It is from archaeological data, combined with the well-known equipment of the Salii, that the close resemblance between the early Latino-Etruscan and the Mycenaean military system is established. Not merely the chief, as Helbig, Comptes Rendus 1900, 517, supposes. The letter 1f20 nu iota omicron chi omicron iota kappa alpha letter 1f76 pi alpha rho alpha beta alpha tau alpha iota who fought at Delium, and whom he rightly regards as a survival from the age of war chariots, acted as a company not as individuals. Diod. Roman 12, 71. Helbig, Licurus du Roy Romain, in Mélange's Parrot, 167f. It was like that chiseled on a gravestone found by Dr. Schliemann on the Acropolis of Mycenae, in the main identical with the Homeric chariot, represented in later time on the famous sarcophagus at Clazomni, Pellegrini in Milani, Studi e Materiali, I-91-3, 98. That the army of Romulus, the primitive Roman army, was a single legion, and that the Servian reform consisted accordingly in doubling it, is an ancient hypothesis accepted by some moderns, as Smith, Rom Timacher. 38f. An organization in definite numbers, however, as 1,000 from each tribe, cannot arise till the state has grown sufficiently populous to make up the army of a part only of its available strength, when folk and army have ceased to be identical. Schrader, Realex. 350, and it is agreed that this condition was not reached till after the adoption of the Servian reform. Delbruck, Jesh de Kriegsk. I-225, Smith, Ibid. 52f, 56. Il Roman 2, 362. Schrader, Ibid. For the Sueves, see Caesar, B.G. Roman 4. 1. For the Lacedaemonian army, see p71. The assumption of Helbig, Comtesse Rendis, 1904. Roman 2. 209 that the army was composed of patricians only is altogether unwarranted. Equally groundless is the notion of Soltau, Altram, Volksversammel, 250 that the Homeric army was composed chiefly of nobles with a few light-armed dependents. Cf. Lyers, Kriegswesen der Alten, 78, Nice in Hist. Zeitcher, XCVI 1907, 264, 266, 289. Il Roman 4, 293 ff. Represented by the dances of the Salii, Helbig, Ibid, 211 f. Paus, Roman 4, 811 Pauline, I10 Delbruck Jesch die Kriegsk, I30 f. Nice in Hist, Zeitcher, XCVI 1907, 274 ff. Cf. Thuck, V70 Pauline, I10. Cf. Thuck, V69, for this and other depths see Delbruck Ibid, I25, Lyers Kriegswesen der Alten 45, Lammert in en Job, FKL Philol, Roman 13 1904, 276 f. Tietius Frag sei Burke, for the shield which covered hips, legs, breast, and shoulders, V23 f. It was abolished by Cleomenes Roman 3 Plut. Cleom, 11, cf. Lyers Ibid, 34, Lammert Ibid, 276 f. Roman 12, 26, Zen, Anab, I216. A public gift of a bronze cuirass is mentioned by Aristotle, Lack, Paul, 75, Muller Frag Hist, Greek Roman 2, p. 127. Gilbert Const, Antic, 73, Delbruck Ibid, 25, maintain that the cuirass was a regular part of the equipment. This is true of soldiers who carried smaller shields. Balak Greich, Jesch, I200f, cf. Lyers Kriegswesen der Alten 34f, Droysen Greich, Kriegsalt, 3 ff. Cf. The name of one of these regiments mu epsilon sigma sigma omicron alpha tau eta sigma, Skal, Thuck, Roman 4, 8 derived from the village or local tribe Messoa. Skal, Aristoph Leicester, 453 mentions 5 by name, cf. Aristotle Frag, 541. Perhaps a sixth for guarding the kings was drawn from all the tribes, Busolt Greich, Jesch, I 535 ff, with notes, Lenschau in Jarisp, U Altwis, CXXXV. 83 holds that there were but 4 phili. The name Pentecosti indicates that it originally comprised 50 men, which suggests that the century may have been a higher group. Before the Peloponnesian War, Thuck. V68, the Lacedaemonian organization had departed far from its original form. Droysen Greich, Kriegsalt, 70, Gilbert Const, Antic, 72, compulsory service beyond the border ceased with the 40th year, Zen, Hell, V413. Cf. Lyers Kriegswa, der Alten 14. Busolt Greich, Jesch, Roman 2, 180 ff. Helbig in Mame, de Elakad, des Insker, Roman 37 1904, 164. But the Athenian army did not become efficient till long after Solon, cf. Nice in Hist, Zeitcher, XCVI 1907, 278-82. The Romans believed that they got the phalanx from the Etruscans in Ed. Vat, in Hermes, Roman 27 1892, 121 from an early historian Fabius Pictor or Posidonius or Polybius Pies Anc, Italy 323, Diod Roman 23. 2 Muller, Athen, Roman 6, 106, p. 273f, Wendling in Hermes Roman 28, 1893. 335 ff. Muller Deek, Etrusker, I 364 ff. Smith Rom, Timacher, 40. The circumstance does not prove that the Romans were then in subjection to the Etruscans. Some of the ancients derive classes from Calir, to call, hence summoning, Dion, Hal Roman 4, 18.2 Quint, Inst, I 633 accepted by Waldelat, Etim, Werterb, 125 Soltau Altram Volksversammel, 242 Lange Rom Alt, I 464. Others connected it with kappa letter 1 FB6 lambda omicron sigma, firewood, hence gathering, serve, inin, I 39, Isid, Edim. Roman 19, 115 Skal. Luke, I 306. Corson Osper, I 494 proposes to derive it from a root clat, which appears in the Greek kappa d tau epsilon iodinu, lat. Clatire, germ, laden, which would still give the meaning summoning, cf. Curtius Greich, etim. 139 Vanichik Greich, lat. Etim, wordherb. 143 clati ties. Mommsen accepted the meaning summoning in the early editions of his history, but rejects it in the Staatsrecht Roman 3, 262f. Cf. His History, English ed. I 1900. 115f, 118, on the ground that however adapted it may have been to the later political classes, it could not well apply to the fleet and army, and hence could not belong to the earlier use of the word, which denoted the line in contrast with those who fought outside the line. But against his reasoning, it could be urged that classis with the idea of summoning first applied to the line of heavy infantry, the only effective part of the army, and when once the connotation of line had been established, it could easily extend to the fleet. Gel, Roman 6, Roman 7. 13. Classici disbenter non omnes, qui in quinc classibus erant, sed primi tantum classis homines, qui centum et viginti quinc milia eris amplius sensi erant. Infra classum autem appellabanter secundi classis cederarum omnium classium, qui minor summa eris quod supra dixi sensibanter. Hoc eo strictum notavi, quonium in m catenus oration, qua voconium legem suesit, queri solit quid sit classicus, quid infra classum. Fest, ep. 113 cf. Sic ver Roman 2, I 41, 104, Sud. Ascon, 188 Gaius Roman 2, 274. The Statement of Diod, Roman 23, 2 Muller and of the Ened, Vat, in Hermes Roman 27, 121 that the Romans derived their round shield from the Etruscans accords with archaeological evidence for the use of the round shield by the early Etruscans. Pellegrini in Milani Studii Materiali I 91 ff. Helbig in Comps Rendus de Elaced. Des Insker, 1904. Roman 2, 196. The notion of Delbruck, Jesch, Die Kriegsk. I 227 that the army was not organized in centuries till after the beginning of the Republic has no foundation whatever. P. 76. The original number cannot be determined. Tubero in Gel. X 28-1, Non, Mark, 523, 24. From this fact it appears that military conditions made a far greater demand upon the early Romans than upon the Lacedaemonians. Helbig in Comps Rendus de Elaced, Des Insker, 1900, 516 ff. Mame de Elaced, etc. Roman 37, 1904, 157 ff. Hermes XL 1905, 109. The objection of Smith, Rom Timacher. 37 N3 is not well founded. Insertus Octor Huschk, P1. Ined, Vat, in Hermes Roman 27, 1892, 121, Helbig Ibid XL 1905, 114. The transfectio equitum was instituted in 304, Livy Roman 9, 46, 15. On the close connection of the Roman cavalry with that of the Greeks of southern Italy, see Pies, Storia di Roma I Roman 2, 607 N1. The priors had each 2 horses, Granius Licinianus Roman 26 P29, verum de equitibus non omittem, quos Tarquinius ita constituit, ut priors equites binos equos in prolium ducerent, cf. Fest, ep. 221. On the Tarentine cavalry, see Livy Roman 33, 29 5. The inference is that the posteriors had 1 horse each. Helbig in Hermes XL 1905, 107. Notisi degli Scavi 1899, 167 Fig. 17 cf. P 157, 1900. 325 Fig. 28. Pellegrini in Milani Studii Materiali I 106. Pellegrini Ibid. I 97 Fig. 5 104 Fig. 10. P 75. P3 N8. Roman 6 13, 4. The principal sources are Sic. Rep Roman 2, 20, 36, 22 39 Livy I 13, 8, 15 8 36 7 43, 8f Dion, Hal Roman 2, 13 Roman 6, 13 4 Pliny NH Roman 33, 9 35 Fest, Ep 55 Plut, Rom. 13. On the basis of these sources, we could reckon an increase to 1800, 3600, or 5400 according to our assumption as to the number of horsemen to the century. Cf. Gerithuel, Die Reiter und die Ritter Centurion, 3:8. Helbig in Hermes, XL 1905. 101, 105, 107. Livy I 13:8, Dion, Hal Roman 2, 13, 1F Fest, Ep. 55. Sic Rep Roman 2, 20, 36, Livy I 36, 2, 7 Fest, 344. 20, Ep. 349, writers differ slightly in the form of the names. P73, N7. This distinction of rank among the patrician centuries of the Comitia Centuriata is proved by the expression prosers patricae in the Censorii Tabulae quoted by Fest. 249.1, Procum patricium in description classium, quam fecit ser. Tullius significat prosrum. Ionim sunt principes. Sic, orat, 46. 156. Centurium fabrum et procum, ut censorii tabuli loquunter, audio dicer, non fabrorum aut procorum. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 109 and 1 has rightly referred it to one of the sex suffragia, for no century outside this group could have been so designated. Cf. Livy Roman 2, 2011, who speaks of the cavalry as prosers iuventides. The mention of a century of leading patricians implies the existence of one or more centuries of the less distinguished members of the same rank, which must have been the rest of the sex suffragia. The superior rank of the equites in early Rome is proved by Dion. Hal, Roman 2, 13, 1, Roman 4, 18:1, Livy I 43, 8F Roman 2, 20, 11, in Roman 2, 24. 2 Livy implies that the patricians did not serve on foot militaire, and in Roman 3, 27, 1 he speaks of a patrician who, as an exception among his rank, served on foot because of his poverty. In Roman 2, 42F he distinguishes the cavalry from the infantry as patricians from plebeians. The fact that in the political conflict between the two social classes, the patricians often threatened to carry on foreign wars with the aid merely of their clients. Cf. Dion, Hal, X15, 27F 43 proves that the phalanx was essentially plebeian. On the honorable place of the equites in the camp, see Nietzsche in Hist. Zeicher, Roman 7, 1862. 145. That the sex suffragia remained patrician down to the reform of the Comitia Centuriata is probable. Cf. Sallust Hist. I-11, who represents the struggle between the social classes as continuing to the opening of the war with Hannibal. See also Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 254. Dion, Hal, Roman 2, 7-4, cf. Polyb, Roman 6, 25-1, Varro LLV 91, terma terrama e in u abiet quad ter deni equites ex tribus tribubus titiancium ramnium lucerum febint, idac primi singularum decurians dicti, qui ob eo in singulis termi sunt etiam nocturni. Cf. Curiatius in Fest. 355. 6. Cf. Polyb Roman 6, 25-1. 300 is given as normal by Polyb. I-16, 2 Roman 6, 20, 9 in Roman 3, 107. 10F he states it at 200, increased to 300 when to meet extraordinary cases the legion was strengthened to 5,000. Cf. Roman 2, 24-3. Livy Roman 22, 36-3 agrees with the latter statement. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 477, believes that the normal number was 300, decreased to 200 when a greater number of legions was levied. Nice Hist, Zeicher, XCVI 1907, 283, rightly assumes that the first and second classes at Athens were not cavalry. Helbig is right in understanding them to be mounted hoplites. Nice's criticism, Ibid. 287 and N1 of Helbig's view is not convincing. Considerable time was required for the establishment of the earliest known meaning of classis, before the second and third divisions were added. This is a conjecture of Brunk in Philol. XL 1881, 362 favored by Delbruck Jesch, D. Kriegsk, I 222. P79, 86. Usually scholars cf. Demezewski in Paliwiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 3. 1953 F. Delbruck Jesch, D. Kriegsk, I-227 Smith Rom Timacher, 39 assume 15 centuries for the fifth rating on the authority of Livy I-43. 7 Dion, Hal, Roman 4. 17-2, Roman 7. 59-5 but our knowledge of the phalanx is only inference, which to be acceptable must have at least the merit of possibility. The number 15 is wrong because it could not have been divided evenly between the two legions, and on the other hand, it will be shown later, p. 208, that in all probability the 15th century was not military, but was added in the make-up of the Comitia Centuriata. Muller in Philol, Roman 34, 1876. 129 is right in supposing that the legion was strengthened between the time of Servius and 387, but it was not in the way he assumes. The tradition of a legion half-phalanx of 4,000 men is preserved in Livy Roman 6. 22, 8. Polyb Roman 6, 20. Cf. Smith Rom Timacher, 121 ff. Livy Roman 4, 46. 1. Dalctum haberi non ex toto passim populo placuit, decem tribus sort ducti sunt, ex his scriptos euniers duo tribuni ad bellum duxer. If this passage does not state a historical fact, at least it gives the idea of the writer as to the custom of earlier time. p. 72, 76. Cf. Smith Rom Timacher, 51 ff. In time of especial danger, however, the legion was increased to 5,000, Polyb, Roman 6, 28. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 268 n2. That the phalanx was a comparatively late institution at Rome, or that it was slow in becoming the only military system, is indicated by the survival in tradition of a more primitive mode of warfare. Sometimes in the early Republic a single gens with its clients took the field. For the Fabian gens, see Livy Roman 2. 48 ff. Often the patricians threatened to arm their clients, to carry on a war without the aid of the troublesome plebeians. Cf. Dion, Hal. X 15, 27 f. 43. As there was no motive in later time for the invention of such stories, they must contain a kernel of real tradition. Hence they could not go back to the 6th century, and it is difficult to believe that they are so old as the 5th. Collateral evidence that the 2nd and 3rd divisions were instituted relatively late may be found in the circumstance that the scutum, the distinctive piece of armor of these divisions, was introduced no earlier than the age of Camillus, the period of the war with Veii and the Gallic conflagration. Livy Roman 8. 8-3. Muller Deke Etruscar I 366. It was Samnite Athen, Roman 6. 106 p. 273 f. cf. Saul, Cat. 51, and was therefore probably adopted in the 4th century, when Rome first came into contact with that people. It is evident to the reader that these proportions are those of the Descriptio Centuriarum of Livy and Dionysius, p. 66 above, and it will be made clear below, p. 86, that the ratings were originally in terms of eugera, the minima of the 5 ratings being in all probability 20, 15, 10, 5, and 2.5 or 2 eugera respectively. For the date, see Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 334 f. Kubitschek in Pauli Wisła Real Encycle, Roman 3, 1902 f. Pies Storia di Roma I Roman 2, 1333 f. There may be some truth in the etymology suggested by Varro, LL, v89, cf. Soltau, Altram, Volksversammel, 256. Cf. Lyers Kriegswa, D. Alton 46. Dionysius Hal, Roman 4, 17-1 includes the 4th rating in the phalanx of heavy infantry. For other possibilities of arrangement, see Smith Rom, Timacher, 46 f. Thuck, v68, p86 above. Delbruck Jesch, D. Kriegsk, I 229, Smith, Rom Timacher, 45 ff. That the 2nd and 3rd divisions of the phalanx were sometimes withdrawn to operate on the flanks, Soltau, Altram, Volksversammel, 249 is possible, though we have no proof of it. p. 76. From early times the Greek and Italian states kept arsenals with which to arm the poor in crises. Lyers, Kriegswa, D. Alton, 36 f. p. 84. Fest, Ep. 1418 369, Varro LL Roman 7, 5658. From them the centurions and decurions engaged their servants, Cato in Varro LL Roman 7, 58 Varro Vit. pop, rom, Roman 3 in non, mark, 520 veget, Roman 2, 19, hence they served the civil magistrates as attendants, cf. Censori tabuli in varo LL Roman 6, 88, Livy Roman 3. 33-8, suet. Keys, 20 non, mark, 59. They must have corresponded with the squires of the Greek and Roman cavalry, p. 73. They were sometimes called adscriptivi or as carriers ferentariae. If, as has been suggested, the secretaries and other attendants of the higher officers were also drawn from them, this circumstance would help explain the honor attaching to the Collegium Excensorum Velatorum of imperial time, Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. Roman 3. 289 Delbruck Jesh. Die Kriegsk, I 233. Notwithstanding Kubitschek, in Pauli Wisła, Real and Cycle, I 135 F. Livy Roman 8, 88, Lane Weber in Philol, NF Roman 15, 1902, 36, estimates 558 excensi to the legion. The Cornicines Tubicinesque, Livy I 43, 7. The Cornicines marched in front of the banners, Joseph, Bel Ead, V 48, Phoebiger in Pauli Wisła, Real and Cycle, Roman 4, 1602. The number is unknown. In the Legio Roman 3 Augusta there were 36 Cornicines, Sil, Roman 7, 2557, Phoebiger, Ibid, 1603. Livy I 43, 3. Varro, LLV 88, Centuria qui sub uno centuriani sunt, quorum centenarius iustus numerus. Fest, Ep. 53, Centuria significat in re militari centum homines, Isid, Edom, Roman 9, 348, cf. Huschkwerf, D. Serv, 107. Estimates have been made by Muller in Philol. Roman 34, 1876. 127 Delbruck Jesh, D. Kriegsk, I 224, Balak Bevolk, D. Greich Rom Welt 42F, Smith Rom Timacher, 67. In the United States the ratio is more than 4 to 1, special reports. Supple. Analysis and Derivative Tables, 12th Census of the United States, 1900, Washington, 1906. p. 170f, the estimate given in the text is based upon the Deutsche Sterbetafel for men in E. Seeshuber, Wahrscheinlichkeitsrechnung, Leipzig, 1903, p. 572, 574. The ratio is almost exactly 3. Livy I 43. 2 for the year 401, see Livy v 10. 4. Nec eunirs modo conscripti sed seniors etiam cocti nomina dare, ut urbis custodium agerent, for 389 Roman 6. 2-6, for 386 Roman 6. 614, for 296 x 21. 4. Nec ingenui modo aut eunir sacramento adacti, sed seniorum etiam cohorts facti libertinique centuriati. Et defendendi urbis concilia agitabenter. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 409 n5. The last of the definite instances here mentioned could alone be historical, and in this case not century or legions but cohort seniorum are spoken of. Cf. Delbruck Jesh, D. Kriegsk, I 227 f. If the senior centuries were formed in the way assumed by Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 261, nicht selbstständig gebildet wurden, sondern daraus hervorgegangen, das were aus einer Century des ersten Aufgebots alters halber Ausschied, damit in die Century des zweiten Aufgebots eintrat. About a half generation must have been required to evolve them. An objection to his idea is that the military centuries as well as the legions were formed anew at each year's levy polyb, Roman 6, 2024, whereas the political centuries were made up by the censors, cf. Sic, Rep. Roman 2, 22, 40, in una centuria censibanter, doubtless modified annually by the consuls. A military century and a political century accordingly could not have been composed of the same men. The tabulae eunirum contain the names of all juniors in honorable service in the field, Livy Roman 24. 1807 tabulae seniorum are not mentioned. Classis eunirum, Fest, 246. 30 may apply to all 85 or 84 centuries of juniors, as Lange, Rom Alt, I 474 supposes, or to the first class, Tubero Historiae, I in gel. X 28. 1. Scripsit servium tullium regem, populi Romani cum elas quinc classes eunirum census faciandi gratia institurit. It is doubtful whether there was a separate list of seniors. Sic, Rep. Roman 2. 22. 40. Ilarum autem sex et nonagentus centuriarum in una centuria tum, quaedam plures sensibanter quam pene in prima class tota. Soltau altram, Volksversammlung 240. The confusion of the comitia with the army, which the ancient writers began, the moderns have intensified till the subject has become utterly incomprehensible. Chiefly to gents, Servianisch Centurienverfassung, 1874, and Soltau, Allram. Volksversammlungen, 1880, belongs the credit of putting in a clear light the fact that the original Servian organization was an army. Both authors, however, have made the fundamental mistake of supposing that for a time during the early Republic, the army officiated as an assembly. Livy Roman 24, 819. After the inclusion of the tribus clustumina, Balak Idle, Bund 74, Smith Rom Timacher, 58 N1. Delbruck Jesh D. Kriegsk, I 223F, Smith Rom Timacher, 58. Balak Bevolk D. Greich Rom, Welt 53 Mayer Forsch, Z. Alt Jesh Roman 2, 162 N3 Delbruck Ibid, I 14. Ferrero's estimate, Greatness and Decline of Rome, I1 of a total population of 150,000 seems to be too large. P81. Cf. Lyers Kriegswa, D. Alton 10. Ascribed to Camillus, Plut, Cam 40 cf. Froelich Jesch, Die Kriegsführung und Kriegskunst der Römer zur Zeit der Rep, Schiller, Rom, Alt, 708. P80 cf. 63. Froelich Ibid, 21F Schiller Ibid. P76. Fest 18913, Ep 56 225, Fabius Pictor Annals I in Gel X, 15, 3F. Gel I11, 3, Virgil Ein Roman 7, 716, Hortney Classes. Gel Roman 6 Roman 7, 13.3, in M. Catinus Oration, qua voconium legem suesit, quaere solit, quid sit classicus, quid infra classum, P90 below. Sil I200 Lex Ager. 37, Recuperators ex sci, vibus L quae classes primi sint Zidato. P66F, cf. Fest, 249-1, in description classium quam fecit sir, Tullius. The attempt of Smith Rom Timacher, especially 140 ff, to prove that the 5 classes were introduced by the censors of 179 has nothing in its favor. It rests upon Livy XL. 51. 9. Mutarent suffragia, regionatum generibus hominum causisque et quistibus tribus descripserunt. This passage makes no reference to the classes. In generibus hominum are included chiefly the genus ingenuum and the genus libertinum. Causes applies to those conditions of the libertini, such as the possession of children of a definite age, which might serve as a ground for enrollment in a rural tribe, and quistibus refers to the distinction between landowners and the opifices et cellularii of the city. They changed the arrangement for voting and drew up the tribal lists on a local basis according to the social orders, the conditions, and the callings of men. Cf. Lange, Rom Alt, Roman 2, 265f, p. 354f below. Among the many objections to Smith's theory, these two may be mentioned. If the classes were introduced at this late historical time, 1. They would not have been ascribed to Servius Tullius. 2. They would have been adapted to the economic conditions of the 2nd century BC, whereas in 179 they were largely outgrown by the depreciation of the standard of value, the increase in the cost of living, and the growth of enormous estates. The Romish Timocracy is ably written, but its main thesis, the institution of the classes in the 2nd century B.C., remains unproved. P64. Verf. D. Serv. 643 F. et Passim. He made a mistake, however, in supposing that from the beginning land was valued in terms of money. Mommsen, Rom Trib, 111 Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 247 ff. Kubler in Pauli Wisua Real and Cycle, Roman 3, 2631. When the change was made from a land to a money rating, the land of the 5th class was appraised relatively higher than that of the others. Newman, Grundherisch, D. Rom. Rep 9f, prefers to assume 16 equals 2 plus 14 eudra for the highest class in order to explain the often mentioned estates of 7 and 14 eudra, but it is difficult to work out a consistent scheme on this basis. Smith, Ram Timacher. 78 ff. Et passim strongly objects to the view in any form, as he doubts the existence of the Servian classes. In general, he has greatly exaggerated the difficulties of their administration. Saul Eug 86 Gel Roman 16, 1014-16 cf. Cass Hem 21 Peter Reliquii I-102f. Heberlin in Riv, Idle, Numis, Roman 1906, 614f. Samwerbaefelt Jesh D. Alt, Ram Munswa, 176f, Hill Greek and Roman coins 47, 49 and 1, Kubitschek in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 1509 ff, Hulch Ibid, V206, Regling in Clio Roman 6, 1906, 503. Babylon Trait, D. Moan, Grec, et Ram. I-595 still holds the view that the trintyl as was introduced in 269, cf. His Orig, de la Moan, 376 Moan, de la Rape, Ram, I-37. P66f. As silver is at present worth 51 cents an ounce, so quoted in New York, Sept 5, 1908, a denarius equals lb. Troy of the coinage preceding 217 is worth by weight today 8.5 cents. A more just comparison would be based on the present coined values. As a dollar contains 371 grains of silver, a denarius would be worth 21.5 cents, or with a liberal allowance for the alloy, we might say about 20 cents. The sesterce, a quarter denarius, would therefore be equivalent to 5 cents. An estate of 100,000 asses of heavy weight, sesterces, would be worth about $5,000, of the sextantarian standard $2,000. It is hardly possible that so large a proportion of the population as was contained in the first class should average the former amount of wealth to the family. In fact, the purchasing power of money was enormously higher than these equivalents indicate. In 430, the value of an ox or cow was legally set at 100 liberal asses and of a sheep at 10. Reckoning a beef at the low modern value of $45 and a sheep at $4.50, we obtain a value of 45 cents for the liberal as, or 22.5 cents for one of 5 Oz weight, sesterce, which would give the denarius a purchasing power of 90 cents. Ram Stotzer, Roman 3, 249, in his history Eng, ed. 1900, Roman 3, 50, he expresses some doubt as to the numbers. I-43, cf. P66. Roman 4, 17, 2. Plet Popul, 21. The view of Goggett, Centuries, 29, following Niebuhr, that Livy has made a mistake is not so likely. Roman 6, 19-2. All must serve in war. Pi lambda letter 1 F74, nu tau letter 1 FF6, nu letter 1 F51 pi letter 1 F78, tau letter 1 F70, sigma tau epsilon tau rho alpha cap omicron sigma iota alpha sigma, delta rho alpha chi mu letter 1 F70, sigma tau epsilon tau iota mu epsilon nu omega nu, tau omicron epsilon sigma delta letter 1 F72, pi alpha rho iota letter 1 FB6, sigma iota, pi alpha nu tau alpha sigma. Epsilon letter 1 F30, sigma tau letter 1 F74 nu alpha epsilon tau iota cap eta nu. That it was the minimal rating of the 5th class, and not a still lower rating for military use only, is proved by a statement of Saul Eug 86, that till the time of Marius the soldiers were drawn from the classes. Cf. Mommsen, Ram Stotzer, Roman 3, 251. Commercially, the denarius was then, after 217, worth 16 asses, Hulch in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle. V 209. Sic Rep Roman 2, 22, 40 Gel Roman 16, 10, 10. Roman 16, 10, 10. Cf. Kubler in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 3, 1522. This interpretation differs slightly from that of Mommsen, Ram, Stotzer, Roman 3, 237. In like manner, those possessing above 100,000 asses were at times divided into groups for the distribution of military burdens according to wealth. Cf. Livy Roman 24, Roman 2, 79. This too has no reference to the organization of the comitia. NH Roman 33. 343. Maximus sensus cassium fuit allo, servio rege, et ideo hic prima classis. Fest ep. 113. Roman 6 Roman 7. 13. Plet popul. 21 Hushk verf d serve. 164. Roman 6. 2315. I-43. 2. Roman 4. 16. 2. After the adoption of the as of an ounce weight in 217, 16 asses of this standard were considered equivalent to a denarius or a drachma, which would give a rating of 160,000 asses for those who wore the cuirass. But the military pay was still reckoned at 10 asses to the denarius. Pliny, NH Roman 33. 345. The censors seem to have used the same ratio, Livy Roman 39. 44 2f compared with Plut. Cat. My. 18. And it is therefore highly probable that in this statement Polybius intended to express in drachmas the value of 100,000 asses. Taken in its entirety, the passage sufficiently proves that reference is to the highest class. The majority, omicron letter 1f31 pi omicron lambda lambda omicron iota, of soldiers, he says, have breastplates, but those rated above 10,000 drachmas wear cuirasses. If as Balat rave, econ, et mon. 77 ff. Imagines, the sum of 100,000 asses fell below the rating of the lowest class, there would hardly have been a soldier without the cuirass. Gaius Roman 2. 274. That registration was necessary is proved by sic, ver, Roman 2, I-41, 104 ff. By the word censi, Cicero does not mean to designate any group or division of citizens, he simply refers to the fact of registration. P. Annius Asellus, of whom he speaks, had not been registered or in any case at that sum, and hence was not technically liable to the law, but the value of his estate could be ascertained by authority of a court of justice, according to Greenidge Leg. Proct. 95 F. Mommsen held the opinion on the contrary Abdel, D. Aked, D. Wiss, Zuberlin 1863, 468 F. that the incensi were absolutely free from the law. P. 85 above. Roman 6 Roman 7. 13. For his rating of 125,000 asses for the first class, CP 89. N5 above. Diocas, LVI, 10-2 Sud, Ascon, 188. Cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 249 N4, Greenidge Leg Prost, 95. The part containing this reference was not essentially later than the enactment of the Voconian Law, p. 361. p. 403. Roman 45, 15-2. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 249 N2. p. 90 N4. First offered in his Histoire des Chevaliers, I. Paris, 1866, and afterward defended in his Révolution économique et monétaire, à Rome, 1885. Cf. Rave Econ, et Mon, 82. Livy Roman 24, 11, 7f. Ibid, Section 5. Marquart Rom, Stotz, Roman 2, 498f. Rave Econ, et Mon, 50. The Roman and Campanian cives sine suffragio knights together amounted to 23,000, Polyb, Roman 2, 24, 14. About 270,000 in 220, Livy Ep, Roman 20. Even with this understanding, we shall have to assume for the requisition of 214 a division between 100,000 and 300,000. Those rated at 100, 000-200, 000 asses furnishing 2, and those at 200,000 300,000 asses 3 sailors. Otherwise, the number of sailors will be greatly in excess of the need. Similar conditions exist at present in America. The monstrous luxury of the few and the heavy fines recently imposed on the Standard Oil Company do not prove all Americans to be wealthy. P. 61f. Livy I-43, 9 sic, Rep Roman 2, 2036 Fest, Ep. 81 221 Gaius Roman 4, 27. Gaius Roman 4, 27. Rep Roman 2, 2036. I-43, 9. Cam 2. This statement is valuable notwithstanding Kubitschek in Pauli Wisła, Real and Cycle. I-683. Payment is mentioned by Livy v. 712, 403, but triple pay is first spoken of in ch. 1212, 400, cf. Polyb, Roman 6, 3912, Fest, 234, 26. Polyb, Roman 6, 3915. The statement of Varro LL Roman 8. 71, debit igiter disi, non equum publicum mil assarium esse, sed mil assarium, seems to signify that in practice the cost of a public horse meant a payment to the eques of 1,000 asses a year, cf. Gerithuel die Reiter und die Rittersent, 49 ff, whose interpretation is preferable to that of Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 257 n5. The fact that the support of one knight was considered equal to that of 3 legionaries, Livy Roman 29, 15:7, is further evidence that the triple pay covered the purchase and keep of the horse. Reference in Livy Roman 7, 41:8 may be to the sums era for the purchase and keep of the horse, cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 257 n3. Dionysius Hal, Roman 6, 44:2, assigns the first recruiting of the equites from the plebeians to the year 494, dating the event about a century too early. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 478 n1. Livy v. 7:5. All this may be gathered from Livy v. 7:413, cf. Gerithuel die Reiter und die Rittersent, 16 ff. Polyb, Roman 6, 19:2, Livy Roman 27, 11, 14. Livy Roman 27, 11, 14, 16. This passage does not refer to those who avoided duty equo privito, as Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 478 n2 supposes. Those were punished who were qualified to serve equo publico but had avoided military duty altogether. Gerithuel, Ibid. 20f, believes that Livy has made a mistake in assigning this judgment to the censors of 209, as it would much better suit the conditions of 214. The credit of establishing this fact beyond a doubt is due to Gerithuel, die Reiter und die Rittersent, 1434. Nh Roman 33, 130, equitem nomen subsistibat in termis equorum publicorum, cf. Fest, ep. 81, equiter antiqui dispent equum publicum merer. p. 75. There were 4 legions each with 4,000 infantry and 300 horse at the opening of the First Punic War, Polyb. I-16. 4 legions fought against Pyrrhus at Esculum, 279, Dion, Hal, Roman 20. 1. This was the normal number for the Samnite Wars, cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 477. 2 legions of juniors was the maximal limit of Rome's military strength during the period of 21 tribes, cf. p. 77, 84. The incorporation of the Vayantan territory, 387, could not at once have doubled this force. Livy Roman 25, 317, cf. Gerithuel die Reiter und die Rittersent, 54. The sources do not suggest that the number after reaching 1800 remained unalterable. In sic, Rep. Roman 2, 20, 36, deigned equitem ad hunc morm constituit qui usque ad huc est retentis. Reference is not to number but to character, Gerithuel, Ibid. 8f. Mommsen's interpretation, Rom Stotzer. Roman 3, 259, n5 is therefore wrong. In 200, the 7 legions contained 2,100 equites or fewer, Gerithuel, die Reiter und die Rittersent, 56. Oret, Elziv, nunc ego arbiter oporter restitui, Mommsen's emendation institui is unnecessary, quin minus duobus millibus ac ducentis sit eram equestrium. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 259, wrongly holds the opinion that the measure failed to pass. See citations collected by Gerithuel, Ibid, 56 n1. Dion, Hal, Roman 6, 13:4, letter 1f14 sigma tau godinu letter 1f45 tau epsilon shows that the number varied. Cf. Madvig, Romstott, I-171. Suet Aug 38. Sic, Rep. Roman 2, 2239, Livy I-43, 8f, Dion, Hal, Roman 4, 18:1, high birth and great wealth are emphasized, but no definite rating of the class is given. Their treatment of the subject is compatible with the view that the knights were then patrician, a view, however, which these writers did not have clearly in mind. Livy's statement, Roman 3:27. One that a certain patrician served in the infantry because of his poverty harmonizes well with the same view. For as the ius equester and horderium were not yet introduced, a poor patrician would be unable to own and keep a horse. Those scholars therefore seem to be wrong who, like Grathuol ibid. 67, following Rubino in Zeicher. F.D. Altertum Swiss. Roman 4, 1846. 219, refer the equestrian census to Servius Tullius. p. 94. It is for about this time, 403, that Livy, v. 75, first refers definitely to an equestrian census. This fact is most clearly stated by Dion, Hal, Roman 7, 59-3, and is confirmed by Sick, Rep. Roman 2, 22, 39 cf. Pliny Nh. Roman 33, 343. For further evidence see Balat Revicon, et Mon, 5 ff. p. 92. Hor. Ep. II 57, Pliny Nh. Roman 33, 232 Mart, Roman 4, 67 v. 23 25 38, Pliny Ep. 119-2, Jov. I 105, v. 132, Roman 14, 326, Suet Keys, 38. Serve in Ein, Roman 3, 89 Roman 6, 190 Roman 12, 259. Sic, Div. 16, 29f, Duri sic et cetera auspicia ut omnia ut signa non causas adferent cur quid eveniat sed nunciant aventura nisi provideris. The last statement means only that a misfortune will happen if an evil omen is unheeded. Sic, Div. Roman 2, 33, 70, non enim sumus Roman 2 nos augurs qui futura dicamus, cf. Lange Rom alt, I 331 Ost, Relig, D. Romer 198. Serve in Ein Roman 3, 20, Auspicari enim cuivis, licit. Sic, Div. I 16, 28, Nihil fear quandam maioris re nisi auspicado ni privatim quidem gerabater, quod etiam nunc nuptiarum auspices declarant, qui re omissa nomen tantum tenent, 46, 104 Val Max, Roman 2. 1 on the nuptial auspices, see de Marchi cult, Priv, D. Rom, I 152-5. Romulus consulted the rest of the gods along with Jupiter, Dion Hal, Roman 2, 5-1. The public auspices were Jupiter's alone, Sic. Leg, Roman 2, 820, so were the auspical chickens, Div. Roman 2, 3472, 35, 73, cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer, I 77 and 2. In historical time the sign called for was Jupiter's lightning, Sic. Div. Roman 2, 1842, Vatten 820, Phil, v3, 7. The epithet Alicius notwithstanding Varro LL Roman 6, 95, Livii, 20. 7 31-8 does not find its explanation in the auspices, Ost in Rascher Lex, Myth, Roman 2, 656 ff. Wiswa Relig, U cult, D. Rom, 106. p. 103. Ingel, Roman 16, 4-4. Cato de Sacrilegio Commisso in Fest, 234. 30. No one could imagine Attus Navius the swineherd to have been a patrician, and yet he was the most famous of private augurs. Sic. Div. I 17. It is significant, too, that the great authority on private auspices, P. Nigidius Figulus, author of Augurium Privatum in several books, Gel, Roman 7. 610, was a plebeian. Livy Roman 4, 25f. Livy Roman 4, 61f. Livy Roman 6, 41, 5f. Sic, Div. Roman 2, 36, 76, nos nisi dum a populo auspicia accepta habemus quam multum iis udimer, I 16, 28. Rubino, Rom Verf, 46 and 2, has pointed out that the phrase auspicia publica occurs only in Livy Roman 4, 2-5, where he believes it to be used in a special sense. In the time of Cicero, no one but an antiquarian ever thought of any other kind of auspices. Livy X 8, 9. The usual view, represented by Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, I 89n. 1 is that the plebeians did not possess this right originally but acquired it later, cf. Also Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2. 2581 De Marchi cult, Priv D. Rom, I 233. This hypothesis not only lacks support, but is also vitiated by the fact that at the time of the supposed equalization, private auspices must have been declining, as Cicero found them extinct. The treatment of private auspices here given is supplementary to the study of the social classes made in ch. Roman 2. Messala in gel, Roman 13, 15-4, Fest, 157-21, Rubino, Romverf, 71 ff. Baucher-Leclerc in Dernberg et Saglio dict, I 580. Sic, leg Roman 3, 39, Livy Roman 6, 41-6 Roman 8, 23, 15f. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, I 96 ff. Messala de auspices I in gel, Roman 13, 15-4, Baucher-Leclerc ibid, Roman 2, 581. Messala ibid. As when, for instance, the consul forbids the minor magistrate to watch the sky on an appointed comitial day. Gel. Roman 13. 15-1. In edicto consulum, quo edicunt, quis dies comitiae centuriatis futura sit, scribiter ex veter forma perpetua, niquis magistratus minor decalo servus velit. Commentarium Inquisitionis of a Questor, in Varro, LL Roman 6, 91. Auspicio operam des et in templo auspices, dum out ad praetorem out ad consulum midas auspicium petitum. This passage shows that the quaestor, though asking permission, himself holds the auspices. The first alternative is held by Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. I 89, whereas Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2584 is inclined to the latter. Gel Roman 14, 748 quoting Varro. Leg Roman 3, 310, omnes magistratus auspicium eudicium cabento. The previous paragraph is concerned with the tribunes, and in this citation, the use of eudicium instead of imperium points to the tribunes. It is hardly possible that Cicero in his laws would give the tribunes a right they did not possess. In gel, Roman 13, 15-4. Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2583, seems therefore to be incorrect in excluding the tribunes from the right. In stating that the tribunes were given the right to take auspices for their assemblies, Zanaras, Roman 7, 19, evidently confuses the oblativa with the impetrativa. It is an interesting fact that according to Cicero, the first college of tribunes was elected under auspices in the comitia curiata, frag. A Roman 7, 48, idac auspiciato postero anno tr. PL, comites curiatis creati sunt. Sic, div Roman 2, 34, 71, hic apud maiores nostros ad hibater peritus nunc quilubit. As in the time of Cicero, auspices had come to be a mere pretense, p. 118, an attendant without skill or scruple would best serve the magistrate's purpose. In Livy Roman 4, 18-6, the augurs see the omen for the dictator, but some other attendant might serve the purpose. Being a paid functionary, the birdseer mentioned by Dion, Hal. Roman 2, 6-2, as assisting in an auspication could not have been a public augur. Valatin in Nemos, Roman 18, 406 ff. Wiswa relig u cult, D. Romer 456 and 8. The magistrate requested assistance in the following form, Q fabi T mihi in auspicio esse volo, and the reply was audivi, sic, div Roman 2, 3471, cf. Section 72. From this formula, it appears that the person summoned did not hold, but assisted in the auspices, Lange Rom alt, I 338. The auspices are always said to belong not to the augurs but to the magistrates, sic. Leg, Roman 3, 310, Messala in gel, Roman 13, 15-4. Instead of remaining with the augurs in the city, the auspices followed a duly elected consul into the field, Livy Roman 22. 1. 6. Auspicary is strictly a function of the magistrate cf. Varro Rahum Roman 20 in non Mark 92, though the word is sometimes applied to the observation made by augurs fest. Ep. 18, whose function is properly termed augurium augurare, Ost relig, D. Romer 200f, Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2580f. The derivation is unknown. Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2313f, summarizes the principal theories. Probability seems to favor the view that it is a combination of the root of aves with a verbal noun meaning to see or the like. Walda lat etim, Wordurb, 55. Attus Navius from his boyhood was renowned for his augural skill. Sic. Div. I-17, Livy I-36, Dion, Hal Roman 3, 70F cf. Lange Rom Alt, I-333. Romulus too is said to have been an excellent augur. Remus possessed similar skills. Sic. Div. I-23, 1730, 4089 Aeneas in Sic. Div. I-48. 107, and in the opinion of Livy, I-18-6, Roman 4. For 2, there was no augural college before Numa. Varro, LLV 33, Sic. Fam, Roman 6. 6-7 Senec. 1864, Fest, 161. 20, Sil, Roman 6. 503, 504, 511, 1233, 1449, x 211, Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle. Roman 2. 2314. Sic. Rep. Roman 2. 916, 14. 26, Livy x67, Ep. LXX6, Marquart Rom, Statzv, Roman 3. 398, Lange Rom Alt, I-334F, Wiswa Relig, U Cult, D. Romer 451, also his article in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle. Roman 2. 2316F in adding a supernumerary diocas. Roman 42. 51. 4. Caesar set an example extensively followed by the Principes, cf. Diocas. Lee 23, Wiswa Ibid, Roman 2. 2317. As distinguished from magistrates they were privati. Sic. Div. I-40, 89. Octor insertus Hushk P4, Collegium augurum ordo hominum prudentum erat, qui prodigies publicis priorint. Cf. Lange Rom Alt, I. 330. Sic. Div. Roman 2, 34, 71F cf. Livy Roman 41, 18. Plut Qr 99. Sic. Leg Roman 2, 820 Phil Roman 13, 512. They are never called flamines and no flamen was attached to their office. Wiswa Relig, U Cult, D. Romer 451. The great sacerdotal colleges were more political than religious, and the College of Augurs was the most thoroughly political of all. Boucher-Leclerc in Dernburg et Saglio dict. I-564. Sic. Leg Roman 2, 820 Diocas Roman 37, 24F Ost Relig, D. Romer 199, Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle. Roman 2. 23-25-30. Fest 333. 9. Spectio in auguralibus ponitor pro aspection. Data est et nunciatio qui omni ius auspicium habent, auguribus non spectio dumptixat, quorum concilio rem gererant magistratus, ut possent impedir, nunciando quicum videscent, privatis spectio sine nunciation data est, ut ipsi auspicio rem gererant, non ut alios impederant nunciando. Valitans emendation in Nemos. Roman 18, 1890. 455 F. Sic. Leg Roman 2, 821. Quic agent rem duali quic domi popularum, auspicium primonento alic obtemperanto, cf. Lange Rom Alt, I-332. It generally happened that both the augural and pontifical colleges were filled by statesmen, so that Cicero could lay down the principle that the sacred and political offices were held by the same persons. Div. I-40, 89, cf. Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle. Roman 2, 23-21. Livy Roman 4, 7-3 Roman 8, 23, 14-17 Roman 23, 31-13 Roman 45, 12-10 Sic. Phil, Roman 2, 33-83 Leg, Roman 2, 12-31 ND Roman 2, 4-11. A defect in the auspicia impetrativa was expressed by the formula video tabernaculum captum esse, Sic. ND Roman 2, 4-11 Div. I-17, 33 Livy Roman 4, 7-3 Serve. In Een. Roman 2, 178, whereas the phrase video creatum esse or the like Livy Roman 8, 15-6, 23-14 Roman 23, 31-13 Roman 45, 12-10 Plut, Marcel, 4 denoted a failure to take the auspices or to heed unfavorable omens, Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle. Roman 2, 23-34. On the annulment of laws through augural decrees see Sic. Leg. 821, 12. 31 Div. Roman 2, 35-74. The decree was no more than an opinion on which the Senate acted, Rubino Rom Verf, 88. N3 Ost Relig, D Romer 201. An example of such boldness was that of C. Flaminius, Livy Roman 21, 63 cf. Plut, Marcel, 4 Zahn Roman 7, 20, for the case of Appius Claudius Pulcher, C. Livy Ep, Roman 19, Polyb, I 52. P. 112. Sic, leg Roman 2, 821. Strictly it was the templum minus as distinguished from the templum magnum, a region of the sky, Varro LL Roman 7, 7, Fest, 157-24, Serve, Inin, I 92. Varro LL Roman 6, 86-91. It was always rectangular and was usually covered with a tent, Fest, 157-24, Serve, Inin, Roman 2, 512, Roman 4, 200, Nissen Templum 162 ff. Wiswa Relig, Ucult, D. Romer 455 in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2337 ff. Valatin in Nemos, Roman 20, 1892. 338-90, Roman 21. 6291, 397 440, Roman 23. 1579, Roman 25. 93 144, 361-385, Roman 26. 193, Bauche Leclerc in Dernburg et Saglio Dict. I 554f. When wars were waged in the immediate vicinity of Rome, the augurs could easily accompany the commander. Cf. Livy Roman 4, 18-6, sic, leg Roman 2, 821. But they certainly did not often go as far as Samnium. Cf. Livy Roman 8, 2316, Roman 9, 38, 14. Though the augurs remained at Rome, the auspices followed the commander into the field. Livy Roman 22, 16 p. 105 n. 1. Livy Roman 3, 26 Ost Relig, D. Romer 201. Gel Roman 13, 14. 1. Varro LLV 143, Wiswa Relig, U Cult D. Romer 456 n1. Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2339. Serve Inin, Roman 6, 197 Varro LL Roman 6, 53 Wiswa Relig, U Cult, D. Romer 456, also his article in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2339. Varro LLV 143, sic, leg Roman 2, 821 Sil, Roman 6, 1233 Wiswa Relig U Cult, D. Romer 456 and notes. Varro LLV 33. The elder Tiberius Gracchus vitiated the election of his successors in the consulship by forgetting to renew the auspices, when, after entering the city to preside over the Senate, he recrossed the Pomerium to hold the election in the campus. Sic. N.D. Roman 2, 411, div. I-17, 33, cf. Tac. Ann, Roman 3, 19. Fest 250. 12, 157-29, cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer. I-97 N1 Valatin in Nemos, Roman 18-1890. 209 f. The reason for the auspication on such occasions is differently stated by the authorities, but the interpretation given by Jordan Hulson top. D. Stat Rom 1, Roman 3, 472 f. that this brook marked the boundary of the city auspices seems preferable. Avispex Auspex Birdseer, Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2580. Livy I 7-1. Fest, Ep, 64, sic, Div Roman 2, 3371, Hic cert quibus Eudemer, Sive Triputio Sive Decalo, the auspicia Triputio being used in the military sphere, leaving only the auspicia Decalo for the city, cf. I 16, 28 Mommsen Rom Stotzer, I 79 N1 Ost Relig, D. Romer 203, Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 2, 2333. Diocas Roman 38, 13-3 lightning from left to right especially in a clear sky was favorable. Dion, Hal Roman 2, 5-2 Verg, Een, Roman 2 692 Roman 7, 141 Roman 9, 628 on the last see Servius. A thunderclap was unfavorable to one entering office Roman 23. 3113 Plut, Marcel, 12 cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer, I-80 N2. Tac Hist, I-18. Sic Div Roman 2, 1842. Sic Div Roman 2, 35, 74, 1843, Dio Cas, Roman 38, 13, 3f. Censori tabuli in varo, LL Roman 6, 86. Ubi noctu in templum censor auspicaverit ac decalo nuntium erit, preconi sic imperato ut viros vosit. Wisua in Pauli Wisua, Real Encycle, Roman 2, 2585. The auguraculum was doubtless used only by the augurs, not as Mommsen Rom Stotzer. I 103 N2 supposes by the magistrates. Livy Roman 8, 1412, sic, Vatin, 10, 24, in rostris in illo inquam augurato templo ac loco. Varro LL Roman 6, 91 Val, Max Roman 4, 53, sic, Rab Perd 411 Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa Real Encycle, Roman 2, 2585f. Valatin in Nemos, Roman 23, 1895, 28 ff. Censori tabuli in Varro, LL Roman 6, 86, Livy Roman 8, 2315 x, 40, 2. The auspices had to be taken on the day the business was to be transacted, counting the day from midnight to midnight, Gel, Roman 3, 210, Consorinus Roman 23, 4. Various in Fest, 347-17, Serve, in Een, Roman 9, 4, Statius Theb Roman 3, 459. Romulus, however, stood upright, Dion, Hall, Roman 2, 5-1. p. 105. Silence was essential to perfect auspices, Fest, 348-29, Ep. 64 Livy Roman 8, 2315, Roman 9, 3814, x 40. 2 Pliny Nh Roman 8, 57-223. Serve in Een, Roman 3, 89 Livy I 18, 9. Cf. Livy Roman 41, 1814. Cf. Livy Roman 9, 3815, 39-1. Cf. p. 115, 118 N2. Livy v. 52, 15 Roman 9, 38. 15f. 39-1 Dion, Hal Roman 9, 41-3 sic at Roman 2. 7-2, 12-1 Roman 8. 3-3 Hoffman Patrick, Eupleb, Curian 29 ff. is of the opinion that the assembly which passed the lex curiata was not auspicated, his idea being that the lex curiata itself conferred the ius auspicium publicorum. There is no ground, however, for either of these suppositions. Sic, N.D. Roman 2, 411, Dion, Hal, Roman 7, 59-2 on the censorial auspication of the comitia centuriata for the lustrum, see var LL Roman 6, 86, Mommsen Rom Stotzer. I 98 and 6 supposes this to be the auspication of the censor's entrance into office, cf. 81 N1, believing that assemblies which did not vote were unauspicated. But cf. p. 111 N1 below. Dio Cas, Liv, 24-1 sic Fam Roman 7, 31 cf. Varro RR Roman 3, 2-1. Dion Hal Roman 9, 41-3-49, 5. This is shown by the Commentarium Inquisitionis of M. Sergius, a quaestor in Varro, LL Roman 6, 91. Censori tabuli in Varro, LL Roman 6, 86f, ubi noctu in templum censor auspicaverit ac decalo nuntium erit, tum conventionum habet qui lustrum condituris est. Mommsen's interpretation, Rom Stotzer. I 81, N2, 98, N6, which applies these auspices to the censor's entrance upon his office, seems forced. It is not necessary, however, to suppose that this magistrate had to renew the auspices for every day of the census taking. Mommsen, Ibid. I 113, N4. The current view, cf. Lange Rom Alt, Roman 2, 718 Mommsen Rom Stotzer, I 98 Carloa Rom Rich Stesch, I 380 Libanam in Pauli Wiswa Real Encycle, Roman 4. 1150 that no contio was auspicated appears therefore to require modification. Plet Pomp 52, Catamin 42. Ale Don in Tarrant, ad Roman 4, 28, qui malum rem nunciat obnunciat qui bonum ad nunciat, non propri obnunciare dicuntur augurs qui aliquid mali aminis scivum vidrant. In this late author 350 AD. Obnuntiatio is ascribed to the augurs. When Cicero says to Antony Phil, Roman 2, 3383, augur auguri consul consuli obnuntiasti, he does it only to find fault with the preceding. Cf. Mommsen, Ram Stotzer. I. 111 N2. These are the only instances known to us in which the distinction is not observed. Mommsen, Ibid. Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle. Roman 2, 2335. Valentin in Nemos. Roman 19, 1891. 75 ff. 229 ff. Baucher Leclerc in Dernberg et Saglio Dict. I. 582. Cato de Sacer. Com. in Fest. 234. 33. Quod ego non sensi nullum mihi vidium facit. Pliny Nh. Roman 28. 217. Serve. In Een Roman 12. 259. In oblativis auguraes in post videntes est, utrum id ad si pertiner velit and refutet et abominter. Cf. Sic. Div Roman 2 36. 77. Wiswa Ibid. Roman 2. 2335. An example of an evil omen privately reported is given by App. BC I 30. Livy Roman 9, 38, 16 with ch, 39 1. Fest 234, 27. P 104, Cato de Re Mil, in Fest, 214 7. Magistratus nihil audent imperare, ni quid consul auspici paramat. P 114. Sic Phil Roman 2, 32, 81. Nos augurs nunciationum solium habemus, consuls et reliqui magistratus etiam spectionum. Varro Rahum, Roman 20 in non, Mark, 92. De calo auspicari ius neminist praetor magistratum. Fest, 333 9, quoted P 106 N8. Madvig Ramstadt. I. 267 supposes that the augurs had both the spectio and the nunciatio, but this view contradicts the clear statement of Cicero. Mommsen, Ram Stotzer. 109 N1. The fact is, as has been stated, P 106, they had the spectio for their own functions only, and as assistants of the magistrates simply the nunciatio. The formula used is in auspicio esse, sic, at Roman 2, 12, 1. Sic, leg Roman 2, 820 F Roman 3, 411 1943 ND Roman 2, 38 Div, Roman 2, 3371, cf. Lange Rom Alt, I 339. P 106 F. Sic Phil Roman 2, 3383 Div, I 40, 89. Privati eadem sacerdotio perditi rem publicam religionum auctoritate rexerunt, an exaggeration, leg, Roman 2, 1231, Livy I 36. 6. In this capacity, the augur did not look for omens with a view to reporting them, but merely announced those which came unexpectedly. Phil Roman 2, 33, 82 F. P 115. 3 were present at curiate assemblies, sic, at Roman 4, 17 2 cf. Roman 2, 7 2. In this case, the augur not only assisted with his special knowledge, but also acted as crier. Varro, LL Roman 6, 95. Varro, RR Roman 3, 22 7 1. Leg Roman 2, 1231. Sic Phil Roman 2, 32, 81. P 104, 112. Gel Roman 13, 15 1, cf. Rubino Romverf, 79. Sic at I 16, 13. Lurco Tribunus PL, salutis est et aliet fufia ut legem de ambitu ferit, sest. 61 129. Decretum in curia, nequis decalo serverit, nequis morum ullum adferit, that no one should watch the heavens or interpose any delay in the proceedings for the recall of Cicero. Both measures here referred to were so popular, and the magistrates were so nearly unanimous in their support, that the Senate felt it could in these cases forestall the opposition of one or two opponents. In the famous case of Bibulus against Caesar, 59, Suet, Keys, 20 cf. Diocas, Roman 38, 42 f. Proved by the fact that the watching of the sky by Bibulus should have annulled the arrogation of Clodius sic. Dom. 15, 39 f. Har resp. 2348 at Roman 2, 12 2, 16 2, Prov. Cons. 19, 45, Mommsen Rom, Stotzer, I 113, N2, which was brought about by an act of the curiae under the presidency of the Supreme Pontiff. Any one competent to observe the heavens necessarily had the obnuntiatio. Sic. Sest. 36, 78. Probably obnuntiatio against tribunes is referred to by Sic. Phil, v3-7f, and by Ascon, 68. The last is the abolition of the Livian laws of 91, but the obnuntiating magistrate is not known. In Sic, Vatin. 717, numquem post urbum condidem sias tribunum pl. Ejus cum plebe, cum consterit servatum esse decalo. The principle is laid down that anyone who has the right to obnuntiate may use this power against a tribune. The validity of the tribunician law for the interdiction of Cicero from fire and water was maintained on the ground that no one was then watching the sky. Sic. Prov. Cons. 19. 45. Sic Sest. 37. 79 cf. 3883 Phil. Roman 2. 3899 at. Roman 4. 33f. 174 qfr. Roman 3. 32 cf. Druman Grobe Jesh. Roms Roman 36 Mommsen Rom Stotzer. I-113 N3, Diocas Roman 39, 39 Plut Crass, 16 App BC Roman 2, 1866 cf. Sic. Div I-16, 29 Roman 3, 7. 25. Sic at Roman 4, 9-1. Sic Vatin, 7-16. Sic Dom, 15, 39. Augurs, negant fas esse agi cum populo, cum decalo servatum sit. Sic at Roman 4, 3-3. Sic Phil Roman 2, 32, 81. Sic at Roman 4, 3-4 in like manner by Bulus after obnuntiating in vain against Caesar's agrarian law, p. 439, determined to remain at home and continually to watch the sky for the remainder of the year. This procedure invalidated all acts passed during that time by the assembly. Sic. Dom. 15, 39 f har, resp. 2348. Prov. Cons. 19. 45. This procedure too was followed by Bibulus Diocas, Roman 38, 6, 1 cf. Mommsen Rom Stotzer, I-82 N3. That they were two separate enactments and not one complex statute by joint authors is clearly indicated by Sic. Har. Resp. 27, 58, sustulit duas legs alium et fufium, Sest. 15, 33. Generally they are spoken of as separate laws, though Cicero occasionally, as Vatin 5, 7, groups them in one. That they were plebiscites is held probable by Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, I-111 N4. When Cicero, Vatin 923, states that these laws survived the ferocity of the Gracchi, the audacity of Saturninus, etc., he places their origin in the times before the Gracchi, and when he speaks of their abolition, 58, he tells us that they had been in force about 100 years pies. 510. Diocas, Roman 38, 13. Vatin, 718. Ibid, 913. Read in Sen 511, cf. Har, resp. 27, 58, pies 49, propugnaculum euric tranquillitatis ac odii, with other provisions of these statutes, cf. Sic. At I-16, 13, Skol, Bob 319f, the present discussion is not concerned. See further on these laws, p. 358f below. Klein Schriffen, I-274ff, 341, Rom, Alt, Roman 2, 315, 477f. At Roman 4, 34, 16.5 Phil, Roman 2, 32, 81. Sic Vatin, 615, 718. Sic Red, in Sen 511, Legem Tribunus PL. Chalit ni auspices obtemporaritor ni obnuntiare concilio aut comites ni interceder licerit ut lex aliet fufia ni valerit, har, resp. 27, 58 Sest. 15, 33 Prov. Cons. 19, 46 Pies 49 511 Diocas, Roman 38, 13, 5f 14 2 Ascon. 9 Skol, Bob 319f. Sic at Roman 4, 34, 16 5 Phil, Roman 2, 32, 81 cf. Froelich in Pauli Wisua Real Encycle, Roman 4, 84 Druman Grobe Jesh, Roms Roman 2, 204f. Roman 8, 2313 ff. Polyb Roman 6, 56 ff. The former view was taken by Appius Claudius Pulcher, consul in 54 and author of a work De Disciplina Augurali, Fest. 298-26, and the latter by C. Claudius Marcellus, consul in 50, and by Cicero, all three being public augurs. Sic. Div. I-47, 105, Roman 2, 1842, 3370 35, 75 leg, Roman 2, 13, 32F, ND I-42. 118 in general div. Roman 2. At that time auspices were a mere pretense, the chicken omens were forced, and the celestial signs were not seen, sic. Div. Roman 2, 33F 71F Dion Hal, Roman 2. 6 on the decline of augury and the auspices, see Wiswa in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 2. 2315, 2333. Probably the jurist of that name who lived under Hadrian, and who is mentioned by Paulus in Dig. v43. Roman 15. 27:4. Is qui non universum populum, sed partem aliquam ades iubit non comitia, sed concilium edicere debit. For the purpose of the present discussion, the plebeian assembly, that is, the assembly which convened under the tribunes of the plebs and which issued plebiscita, is assumed to be a gathering of only a part of the people. If it admitted patricians, p. 300, and if therefore there was no assembly comprised exclusively of plebeians, no argument would be needed to prove the error of the conventional distinction between comitia and concilium. In Livy Roman 3, 16, 6, this meeting is called a concilium. p. 341. Rom Forsch, I-170 N8, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 149 N3. Mill 37 cf. p. 122 N3 below. Cum si in medium contionem intulicent, abstiner sudis ante talibus conciliis. His last citation on this point, Livy v. 47. 7, vocatis ad concilium militibus, has reference to the soldiers only to a part of the people and is therefore altogether unlike the others. For an explanation of it, see p. 135f. A closely related question is whether concilium is ever restricted to the deliberative stage of a session preliminary to the division into voting units, with comitia limited in a corresponding manner to the final voting stage of the session. A few passages, as examples 2 and 4, might be explained by such a conjecture, but others, as Livy Roman 3. 13:9, Virginio comitia habent conlegi appellati dimiser concilium, prove the supposition impossible. Concilium denotes the assembly in its final as well as in its initial stage, voting as well as deliberating, whereas in ordinary political language contio is used to denote the merely listening or witnessing assembly, whether organized or unorganized, whether called to prepare the citizens for voting or for any other purpose. Rom Forsch, I-170 N8. Ibid, I-195F. It is true that the plebeian assembly came to be subject to the obnuntiatio, p. 117. But it would be absurd on this ground to suppose that Livy's statement refers especially to gatherings of the kind. This statement admits that concilium here designates an assembly of the whole people, but Mommsen does not tell us why the word applies with greater propriety to the patricio-plebeian tribal assembly than to the centuriate assembly. For the true reason, see p. 137, N5. Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 149 N3. Undoubtedly the Caesar who was consul in 64 BC, Teufel and Schwabe, Rom lit, I-348. Section 3, Drumengrobe, Jesch, Roms, Roman 3, 120 N. 6. P. Lucullus et al. Annius, Tribuni plebis, resistentibus colleges continuare magistratum nightbanter, qui dissensio todius anni comitia impedibat. Decam, Trib, et Conc, P.L. Disker. 1875, Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 149 N1, Corneman in Pauli Wiswa, Real and Cycle, Roman 4, 802. The correctness of my results is acknowledged in the Thesaurus Linguae Latini, Roman 4, 44 ff. Tribuniciae candidati compromiserunt HS quingenis in singulos apudem, catonum depositus Peter ius arbitratu, ut, qui contra fecesset, ab eo condemneretur. Qui quaedam comitia si gratuita furent, ut putenter, plus unius caudo poterit quam omnes legs omnesque iudices. The translation given above is Schuckberg's. Per magni nostra interest t, si comites non poteris, et declarado illo, esse rami. Cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 482. Venio ad comitia, sive magistratuum placit sive legum. Leges vidmus sep feri multas. Omitto ees, qui ferunter ita, vixut quini, et Roman 2 ex aliena tribu, qui suffragem ferent, reperianter. De me, quem tyrannum ac ereptorum libertatis esse dispet a la ruina rei publici, dicit si legem chalis. Quis est, qui si, cum contra me ferabater, inis suffragem confitater. Cum autem de me eadem ex, senatus consulto comitae centuriatis ferabater. Quis est, qui non profitater si id fuis et suffragem de salute me chalis. Utra igitur causa popularis debet vidri, in qua omnes honestate civitatis, omnes edates, omnes ordines una ment consentiunt, and in qua furii considiti tamquam ad funis rei publici convolunt. Feri de singulis nisi centuriatis comitaes nolurunt. Descriptus enim populus sensu, ordinibus, editibus plus adhibit ad suffragem concilii quam fuse in tribus convocatus. Quo virius in causa nostra ver magni ingenii sumac prudentia, elcata, dispet nihil omnino actum estinabis. Praetor enim quam quad comitia ilia essent armis gesta servilibus, praetoria nec tributa capitis comitia rada esse possi nec ulla privilege. Quaserca nihil nobis opus esse lege, de quibus nihil omnino actum esset legibus. Sed visum est et vobis et clarissimus virus melius, de quo servi et latrons civis si aliquid dicerent, de hoc eadem cunctum Italium quid centert, ostendir. Rom Forsch, I-161, N53. See list of citations for electoral assemblies, p. 133. Tribus locis significari maxime populi Romani eudicium ac voluntas potest, contiani, comitaes, ludorum gladiatorum concessu. Qui optimits, non populi concessu, sed sues comitaes hoc sibi nomen adragaverent. Eubit enim tribunum plebis, qui eam legem celerit, crir dissim viros per tribus septem decim, ut, quern novum tribus fesserent, is decemvir sit. Hic quero, quam ob causam inidium rerum ac legum suarum hinc duxerit, ut populus Romanus suffragio privaretur. Etenim cum omnes potestates, imperia, curations ob universo populo Romano proficiscae convenit, tum eis profto maxime, qui constituenter ad populi fructum aliquum et commodum, in quo et universi diligent, quem populo Romano maxime consulturum putent. Et unius quisque studio et suffragio suovium sibi ad beneficium impetrandum munere possit. Hoc tribuno plebis potissimum venit in mentum, populum Romanum universum priver suffrages, paucas tribus non certa condition iuris, sed sortis beneficio fortuito ad usurpandum libertatem vocer. Cf. Imp. Pomp. 15, 44, 22, 64. Sest 51, 109. p. 301f. Mihi quidem e veri videnter opinions, qui honesty, qui laudabiles, qui gloriosi, qui in senatu, qui ad populum, qui in omni coedu concilioque profitendi sint. Cf. Leg. Roman 3. 1944, quoted p. 127. The writers not included in this discussion, as Nepos and the poets, contain nothing at variance with the results here reached. Gudeman's article on concilium in the these. Ling. Lat. Roman 4. 44.8, in most respects excellent, still retains the groundless distinction between republican and imperial usage. It will suffice here to mention the elder Cato, Livy Roman 39. 40. 6. See Eius Consulars Paratissimus, sic, Senec. 11. 38. Eius Augurium Pontificium Civil Tracto. On the subject in general, see Pies, Store D. Rom, II 68 and notes. For citations of other authors, see Gudeman in these. Ling, Lat. Roman 4, 45. All three passages are quoted, p. 130f. The classification of comitial functions into elective, legislative, and judicial follows Cicero, Div. Roman 2. 35, 74. Ut comitium vel in eudiciis populi vel in eir legum vel in crindis magistratibus. In this volume, accordingly, legislative refers not merely to lawmaking in the narrower sense, but also to the passing of resolutions on all affairs, domestic and foreign, including necessarily the lex de bello indicendo. For separate lists of the elective and the legislative and judicial comitia, see Romans 6 below, where will be found sufficient illustrations of B. Only one instance of concilium as an elective body has been found, Lex Iulia Municipalis in Sil. I 206, 132, the election of magistrates, comities conciliove. The explanation is that the usage of some of the Italian municipia differed from the Roman, and the author of the law had to adapt his language to local custom. With this exception, the inscriptions are in line with the literature. P. 124. Discussed on p. 123f. P. 132. Ibid. Fest. Ep. 38. Concilium dicitur a conciliando id est vocando. It is accepted by Curtius Graich, edem. 139 Vanacek Graich lat edem, Wordurb. 143 Walda lat edem Wordurb. 136, but Corson Bader, Z. Idle, Sprachk. 41f rejects this etymology on the ground that it does not harmonize with all the meanings of the word and of its derivative conciliar, also Gudeman in these, ling, lat. Roman 4, 44, Corson analyzing it into concilium and connecting sil with a root cal to cover, supposes the original meaning to be simply a joining together, a union, giving that signification which he considers primary. It is equally reasonable, however, to assume the development to be 1. A calling together, 2. A meeting for consultation, 3. A natural union of individuals of any kind. In the third sense, it is applied perhaps figuratively to inanimate things, especially the union of atoms to form objects, by Lucretius I 183, 484, 772, 1082, Roman 2, 120, Roman 3, 805, cf. Ovid, Met, I 710. The meaning consultation, deliberation, clearly appears in Plaut, Mill, 597 ff. Senite me priu perspectere, ni uspium insidii sint concilium quad haber volumus. Nam opus est nunc tudo loco unda inimicis ni quis nostri spolia capiat concili. Nam bene consultum inconsultumst, si id inimicis usuist, nec potest quin, si id inimicis usuist, opsit tibi nam bene consultum, concilium surrupiter sipasum. Also in 249, 1013, Socium tuorum conciliarum et participum conciliarum, sic. Rep 17. 28, Doctisimorum hominum in concilio, Keys, BC I 19, Nep. Epem, 35 Verg. Roman 2, 89 or conciliis, Roman 3, 679 v. 75, Zi 234, Livy 121 3, see also Roman 2a, p. 132 and 4 Cellini lat. Lex, Roman 2. 347, it is never a chance crowd, diff, ed. Beck p. 47. 43, concilium est convocata multitudo conventus ex diversus locis populum in unum contrahit coetus fortuitu congregator. The ancients understood this to be the meaning of the word, varo ll Roman 6. 43, a cogitation concilium into concilium, an unsuccessful though instructive guess, fest. Ep. 38, concilium dicitur a populo consensu, isid. Edem, Roman 6. 16. 12, concilium a communi intention ductum quaes a communicilium. This interpretation is supported by several glosses, phi iota lambda omicron pi omicron iota epsilon iota alpha, corp gloss. Lat, Roman 2, 471. 49, sigma epsilon mu beta omicron epsilon lambda iota omicron u, ibid. Roman 2, 107 5, coenebulium kenebulium, ibid. Roman 4, 321-27. Lastly, our derivative counsel points in the same direction. The meaning deliberative assembly has been accepted by Gudeman in these, Ling, Lat, Roman 4, 46, who has added citations from the whole range of Latin literature. Lodge Lex Plaut, I 288 Gudeman these, Ling, Lat, Roman 4, 45. Cf. Gudeman ibid, Roman 4, 48. Cf. N1 and P 132, Roman 2. P 143. P 132. The notion, sometimes expressed that the word applies more appropriately to a body of representatives of the component states of a league, is without foundation, though it is true that some foreign concilia are of this character. P 133. Ibid. P 134. Thus is explained a phenomenon for which Mommsen could find no adequate reason, that the so-called patricioplebeian, tribal assembly was more apt to be called concilium than were the comitia centuriata. The deliberative feature of the concilium also explains the close approach of the word to contio, another fact which Mommsen knew but did not understand. Cf. p. 131. Notwithstanding all the confidence reposed by the moderns in this utterance of Laelius, Debit suggests that he is proposing an ideal distinction rather than stating an actual usage. p. 286, 292, 301f. Corson Osper, I-51 Roman 2, 683 Vanacek Greichlat, etim Werderb 184 Walda Lat, etim Werderb 140 cf. SC de Bach in Sil, I-196, 23 In Conventionid, Fest, Ep. 113 In Convention in Contio, Commentaria Consularia in Varro LL Roman 6, 88 Corp Gloss, Lat. V 28013, Roman 6, 270 SV. Sat. I-16. 29. Contra Iulius Caesar Roman 16 Auspicium, Libro negat Nundinis Cantionum advocari passi, id est cum populo agi, idioc Nundinis Romanorum haberi comitia non passi. Cf. p. 125f. At Roman 4, 3-4, Contio biduo nulla. Cf. Pliny Nh Roman 18. 313, Nundinis urbum revisitabant et idio comitia Nundinis haber non licebet, ni plebs avocator, Fest, 173. 33. Sic at I-14. 1. Lexgen 81 in Sil Roman 2, Suppulb, 5439, in Contiani palem luci Nundinis. Another illustration is the statement of Gellius Roman 15, 27-3 that wills were made in comitia calata in a contio of the people. Mommsen's assumption, Ram Stotzer. I-199 and N3, that no contio was held on a market day as a rule, to which there were exceptions, is altogether unsatisfactory. The passages cited refer to a law, not to a mere custom to be observed or not at the will of the magistrate. The contio which met on a market day must have been essentially different in nature from the contio which was forbidden for market days. Cf. Also Varro, LL Roman 6, 93, Sic. Rab, Perd. 411. The calata comitia curiata is termed contio by Gell. Roman 15, 27-3, quod calatis comites in populi contiani ferit. Cicero, Rab, Perd. 4, 11 cf. 515 speaks of the witnessing comitia centuriata as contio, and the lustral centuriate assembly was similarly termed, censorii tabuli in Varro LL Roman 6, 87, conventionum habet qui lustrum conditoris est. A widespread idea held by Carloa Rom Rich Stjesh. I-379, Libanam in Pauli Wiswa Real and Cycle, Roman 4, 1149, Soltau, Altram, Volksversammel, 37, and others, that all Kantians were unorganized is therefore wrong. Fast Ep. 38. Sic. Vatten, I3 at, Roman 14, 11-1, 23 Roman 15, 2-3, Fam Roman 9-14, 7 x 33-2, Livy Roman 24, 22-1 Gel, Roman 18, 7-6 F Gloss, Corp Lat, Roman 2, 114-25, 269-27, 575-8. p. 150. Examples of military Kantians are keys. BGV 48, Roman 7, 52F Livy I16, 1 Roman 2, 59-4 FF, Roman 7, 36-9 Roman 8, 714 31F Roman 26, 48-13 XXX, 17-9 Roman 41, 10-6, see also P202F. Dion Hal Roman 4, 37 V11-2, Plut, Popul, 3, the candidate 2 for the regal office, Livy I35, 2. Sic, Leg Roman 3, 410, cum populo, agendi ius esto consuli praetori, magistro populi equitumque aic, quem paters prodent consulum rogandorum ergo, tribunisque quos sibi plebes crescit, ad plebum quod isis erit ferunto, Varro LL Roman 6. 93. Censor, consul, dictator, interrex potest, exercitum urbanum vocer. Schall, Bob 330, cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. IP Roman 19. This passage proves that a quaestor could call a contio in his own right, and the same holds probable for the aediles. It is necessary to include them in the general statement of Messala in Gel, Roman 13, 16, 17. 1. That the lower magistrates had the right, cf. the note above. Ep. 38. Contio significat conventum non tamen alium quam eum quia magistratu vel a sacerdote publico per preconum convocatur. The sacerdos is the rex sacrorum as well as the supreme pontiff. It was necessary for the latter to hold judicial continence, p. 259, 327. For the former, see Varro, LL Roman 6, 28 Macrob, Sat. I-15, 912 Serv. In Een, Roman 8, 654. Strictly the continens of the rex sacrorum were calata comitia curiata, p. 155. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, I-193. For a contio of the ex vieri leg scrib, see Livy Roman 3. 34-1 on the Juum vieri for presiding at the election of consuls in 43, see Diocas, Roman 46. 45-3 in the opinion of the Romans, the tribunus cellarum, an officer under the kings, possessed the right, Livy I-59. 7 Dion, Hal, Roman 4. 71-6, 75-1, Serv. In Een, Roman 8. 646, Pomponius, in Dig. I-223, Exactis regibus lege tribunitia. These authors suppose that L. Junius Brutus held an assembly in the capacity of tribunus cellarum, whereas Cicero, Rep. Roman 2, 25, 46, speaks of him as a private citizen. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, I-193. But the promagistrate had a right to attend and to address a contio called for him outside the walls by a competent person, cf. Vel, I-10, 4, p. 426 below. Varro, LL Roman 6, 90. Livy Roman 43, 16, 5. Varro, LL Roman 6, 93. For the quaestor see com, Anc. In Varro, LL Roman 6, 91f for the curule aediles sic. Ver, I-12, 36, v67, 173 Livy X23, 1131, 947 4 Roman 35, 1011 41 9 Val, Max Roman 6, 17 Roman 8, 1, Dam, 7 Pliny NH Roman 18, 642. For the plebeian aediles, Livy X23 13 Roman 25, 29 Roman 33, 42, 10 Gel, X63, p. 290, 325 below, Mommsen, Rom, Stotzer, I-196, N2F. Messala de Auspices in Gel, Roman 13, 16, 15, 1. Messala de Auspices in Gel, Roman 13, 16, 15, 1. Dion, Hal, Roman 7, 16, 4, 17, 5, 22, 2, X41, Sic, Cest, 37, 79 Livy Roman 3, 11, 8 Roman 25, 3F Roman 43, 16, 7, 9 or Vict, Ver, Ill, 65, 5, cf. Lange, Rom Alt, I-604, 826, p. 266 below. Sic, Fam, V27, Q. Metellus Nepos forbade Cicero to address the people in contio on the occasion of his retiring from the consulship, a prohibition which Cicero declares was never before heard of. For another case, see Diocas, Roman 38, 12-3, Lange, Rom Alt, Roman 2, 716, Roman 3, 299f. Lange's supposition Rom, Alt, Roman 2, 716, that by the holding of a contio a tribune could prevent a patrician magistrate's convoking comitia is not well founded. Livy Roman 4, 25-1 Tribuni plebi insiduis contionibus prohibendo consularia comitia does not intend to express a constitutional principle, cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 289, Libanam in Pauli Wiswa Real Encycle, Roman 4, 1150. Sic, Rab, Perd, 411. Tun, qui civibus Romanis in contiene ipsa carnificem, qui vincula adhiberi putas oporter, qui in campo martio comiteas centuriatis auspicato in loco crucem ad civium supplicium defigi et constitui iubs, an ego qui funestari contionum contagion carnificis vito, qui castum contionum, sanctum campum, defendo servari oporter, cf. 515. Tac Ann Roman 2, 32. Fest, 241-29, Livy Roman 22, 57-3, Suet, Dom 8, Diocas, LX6-9, 3F, CF, Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2, 56-4. CF, Livy Roman 41, 1510, Lex Gen 81 in Sil, Roman 2, Suppelb, 5439. Livy Roman 3, 66, 2, V 1115, 12-1, Roman 38, 52-4, 53-6 on the judicial contio, CP 259. Livy Roman 43, 16, 5. Roman 13, 16, 13. Sic at Roman 2, 21, 5, ver I 1544 sest, 12, 29 rep I 47 nep, Tim Roman 4, 3 them, I 3 Livy Roman 2, 2 4, 24, 4 6, 27 2 Roman 3, 31 2, 41 5 FF, 54 6, 67 F Roman 4, 15, Roman 41, 10 13. Livy X 13, 21, sic, Hearn Roman 4, 55, 68. A contio described by Livy Roman 6, 39-41 was held by the tribunes Licinius and Sextius in the 9th year of their tribunate, after the day of election for the following year had been set. This meeting, however, was as much for the consideration of the proposed laws as of their own candidacy, and hence could not be thought of as strictly pertaining to the election. Mommsen's opinion, Rom Stotzer. Roman 3, 392, N1, that stories of the kind prove nothing does not accord with his own general attitude toward the sources for the earlier history of Rome. P. 470. Sic Sest, 50, 107 F. Read, in Sen 1026, Pies, 15, 34. P. 259 F. Livy Roman 39, 17, 4 F. Plut, Eames 30 Sud, Sol Declam in Cat 19 cf. The 12 Tables in Censorin, 24, 3. Livy Roman 42, 33 2. Besides the Forum or Comitium Dion, Hal Roman 9, 41 4 it sometimes met in the area Capitolina sic. Frag, A Roman 7, 49 Livy Roman 33, 25 6 Roman 34, 1 4 or in the Circus Flaminius Livy Roman 27, 21 1 sic. At I 14, 1 Sest, 14, 33. In general, see Libanam in Pauli Wiswa Real Encycle, Roman 4, 1151 Carloa Rom Richstesh. I 380. Sic, Flack, 716, contrasting the sitting contio of the Greeks. Brut, 84 289 Leg, Agar Roman 2, 513 Acad, PR, 47, 144 Tusk Roman 320, 48 Aurat, 63, 213. But probably the contio in the Flaminian Circus was seated, Mommsen Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 396 and 3. P 107, 110. Although the tribune of the plebs did not auspicate their assemblies, they like other magistrates occupied a templum during the meeting, Livy Roman 2, 56, 10. Censorii tabuli in Varro LL Roman 6, 86. For the summons by the consul, see the Commentaria Consularia, Ibid, 88, and by the quaestor Commentarium Inquisitionis of M. Sergius, Ibid, 91. Varro LL Roman 6, 86. Censorii tabuli in Varro LL Roman 6, 87, Preco in Templo primum vocet postea de moeris item vocet, cf. 90f, Livy Roman 39, 32, 11, sic. Fam. Roman 7, 30, 1. Documents in Varro, LL Roman 6, 86, 91. Livy Roman 25, 317, sic. Sest, 50, 107 f. Caesar, a praetor and friend of the presiding tribune, sat with him on the porch of the temple of Castor and Pollux, used on that occasion as the speaker's platform, Plut. Cat. Min 27, sic. Vatin, 10, 24. In rostris in a low, in quam, augurato templo ac loco. Quo auctoritatis exquirenti casa cederi tribuni PL, principe civitatis producere consuerant. Documents in Varro, LL Roman 6, 8891, cf. 93. Livy Roman 39, 15-1, consuls in rostra essenderunt, et cantiani advocata cum solemni carmen precationis, quad prefari, priusquam populus adloquanter, magistratus solent, perigis et consul, ida coepit, nulli umquam cantioni, quirates, tam non solum apta sed etiam necessaria hic solemnis diorum comprecatio fuit. The prayer was made at the opening of elective as well as of deliberative assemblies sic. Mer. 1. Plin, Paineg. 63 by plebeian as well as by patrician magistrates. Sic. Hearn, Roman 4, 55, 68. Every speech addressed to the people began with a prayer, serve, in, Zi 301, sic. Kiesel, 1343 Gel, Roman 13, 23, 1 Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 3, 390 N2. p. 430, 439. Caesar first brought his agrarian bill before the Senate, and calling on the senators one after another by name to say whether they found any fault with it, he promised to amend it or to drop it altogether if any clause proved unsatisfactory to any member. As the senators would not debate the merits of the proposal, but did all they could to delay its consideration, he offered the bill to the assembly without their consent, and for the remainder of his consulship he brought no more bills before the Senate, but referred them directly to the people. Dio Cass, Roman 38. 24. Cf. p. 148. Dion, Hal, v. 11. 2. Plut, Popul. 3. Besides the king, it was supposed that the interrex and the tribunus cellarum alone were competent. Dion, Hal, Roman 4. 71 6, 75 1. The ancient writers seem to have been brought to this conception by a desire to contrast the despotism of the monarchy with the liberty of the republic, but according to Livy, I 16, 5 ff, and Cicero, Rep. Roman 2. 1020 cf. Mommsen, Rom Stotzer. I 200 N6, Proculus Julius, a private person, made a speech in a contillo of the regal period, and in judicial assemblies speaking by private persons was necessary. Cf. Livy I 26. For the general usage in the primitive European assembly, CP 169. In presenting his agrarian bill to the people, Caesar first called on his colleague, despite the fact that the latter was known to be opposed to the measure. Dio Cass, Roman 38, 4-1. Commentarium Inquisitionis in Varro, LL Roman 6, 91. Clodius, tribune of the plebs, brought forward the two consuls into the Flaminian Circus, where they gave their sanction and formal approval of all the tribune had been saying against Cicero. Sic. Sest. 14, 33. On this occasion the consul Piso condemned Cicero's consulship for its cruelty. Sic. Pis. 614, read, in Sen 613. In 44 Canudius, a tribune of the plebs, introduced into a contillo the consul Mark Antony, who spoke regarding the assassins of Caesar. Sic. Fam. Roman 12. 3-2 earlier instances are Livy Roman 3. 64-6, Roman 4. 6-1f a tribune brought the augurs into a contillo to ask of them information concerning the auspices. Sic. Dom. 15. 40. Although the senators were invited to sit on the platform com. Anc. In Varro, LL Roman 6. 91, speaking by them was exceptional. In the assembly they were no more than eminent private persons. Dio Cass, Roman 38, 44, cf. ch. 5. E.g. sic. At, Roman 4, 16, habui cantionum, omnes magistratus praesens praetor unum praedorum et duos tribunos dederunt. In a certain contillo a tribune asked Scipio Aemilianus what he thought of the conduct of T. Gracchus, Val, Max Roman 6. 2-3 At the suggestion of the consul Piso, Fufius, a tribune, brought Pompey upon the platform and asked his opinion as to the selection of jurors for a particular case. Sic. At, I-14. 1, cf. Ascon. 50. The tribune M. Servilius invited Cicero to speak in a contillo in support of C. Cassius. Sic. Fam. Roman 12, 7, 1, and it was in response to an invitation of another tribune P. Apuleius Phil, Roman 6, 1, that he delivered the 6th Philippic. Other references to tribunician invitations are sic. At, Roman 14, 25 Dio Cass, Roman 45, 6-3. Ascon, 38. Saul Eog, 33f. The Rhodian ambassadors were introduced by the tribune Antony to the Senate, Polyb, XXX, 4-6, as the context, cf. Section 8 indicates, not as Mommsen, Rom Stotzer, Roman 2. 313 N1 supposes to the people. There is no question, however, as to the right of a magistrate to bring such persons before the popular assembly. Val. Max, Roman 3, 8-6, quid femini cum contioni, si patrius mas seveter nihil. the Lex Horatia, which is alleged to have granted the Vestal Gaia Terratia among many honors the right to give testimony, and which is assigned by Cuc Inst. Jurid, D. Rom, I 255 and in Derm. Et Saglio Dict, Roman 4. 1145 to the Consul Horatius 509 is a myth, Lange, Rom alt. Roman 2. 608, though doubtless in the course of the Republic laws of the kind were occasionally passed, the language of which might be quoted by the annalists Gel. LC. The rule that women were intestabiles is proved by such exceptions. Roman 34, 211. Frag 83-8. Roman 3, 8-6. Appian BC Roman 4, 32-4, see also p. 326. Livy Roman 45, 21-6, 36-1. Livy Roman 45, 36, cf. The statement of Dion, Hal, x 41. 1. That on a certain occasion the crier invited all who wished to speak. These two passages are credible, notwithstanding the doubt expressed by Mommsen, Rom. Stats.